Well, there goes the Daverhood. Good morning, everybody. Welcome on this holidaysical holidaysical. Oops. Oh, I never understand why it does that and how to stop it doing that. But there it is. Anyway, Dave Lefkowitz here with the 829th episode of the Dave's Gone By Facebookio Podcastio Programmio of the stream, which really, quite literally and truly, we have done 828 previous episodes of this. Bunch of them were on the radio, so they were audio only. Then we were doing audio podcasting. We were doing college radio. And then for the past 4 or 5 years, the video podcastio programmio of the stream, featuring me, featuring my darling and adorable wife Joyce, and featuring some wonderful guests that we will tell you about, and also all the usual. It's indescribable. When I first started doing this show, it was like, oh, we have a comedy skit, and we've got a parody song, and we've got this theater segment, and now it's sort of like, I'm going to yap at you. We're going to have a trivia quiz. We're going to, what else we're going to do? What are we looking to do? I don't know. Where's the? I have one of these. Which one are you looking for? I got this. There it is. That's the main point. The main point is, in these still crazy times. Who knew, like 17 months ago, that it would still be crazy times?
It's so dark, though. Hey.
I know. Well, yeah. Well, it's we had 2 beautiful, almost spring-like days in New York, in the middle of December, which is actually almost borderline creepy.
I'm going to give you the numbers so you could stick them up. It'll give some color.
Yeah, that'd be cool. It needs a little.
I gotta find them.
But it's gray and dark outside, but I'm okay. I mean, if you figure...
Where are the numbers?
It's in the folder that is... They're kind of sticking up out of the folder. They might be in that other hutch over there. So you're looking for a 2 and a 9. Because I got the 8 over... Oh. Sorry. It must have been something I ate. Dig it? That's the level of humor that we do here on Dave's Gone By. Let's pop that one up right here, ladies and gentlemen. We'll twist it right there. That's kind of nice.
The DGB too.
Oh, well, I don't know where to... I've got to start doing this with the scotch tape and everything, so it becomes a little bit...
But it's a project.
It's a process, ladies and gentlemen. Which is rather appropriate because we'll have someone in the Daverhood today talking about process a bit, talking about what it is to devote your life to acting and performance and theater. He's a fellow named Ronald Rand. We're actually calling this episode Rand Total. Okay, let's take Grand Total. Something you ate. So and anyway, he's been writing about.
David, we don't have any knives.
Well, they're in there somewhere, or they're in one other folder or something. But he's been. Gosh, where do I even start with him? He has been an actor and a writer about acting for a couple of decades now. He actually created and put out a newspaper called The Soul of the American Actor, which was all about the kind of the spirit and the feels that an actor should have or should try to have. Thank you very much. When trying to do this crazy business. Here's some tape.
I'll put the tape and I'll hand them to you.
Yay! Well, do the numbers first.
Okay, just hand me everything.
Here they are. There's my crew. Oh, and also don't forget the umbrella. Well, it is raining out, so maybe I'll just keep this here for a minute to keep my head dry. So he created The Soul of the American Actor, which, by the way, I think it's 25 years old now and still going on. So you're saying
American actors don't have soul?
Well, I think Rabbi Saul joked that this newspaper has both pages that are blank or black. But no, it's not true. Not true. And
you're saying Soul or Saul?
No, Saul, Rabbi Saul, will be doing the interview with Ronald Rand, who not only does that, he's also interviewed dozens and dozens of like major Tony-winning, Oscar-winning, and non-winning but still great actors over the years for the books that he's written, the many articles that he's written. He's kind of a UN ambassador, if you will. I don't know about the UN, but a goodwill ambassador for American theater, going all over the world. I think he's been in 22 different countries. Ronald Rand has. And so we'll be talking to him about that. We'll also be talking about his book, because he has written and compiled a new theater-related book called Solo Transformation. Has to do with doing solo work, which I'm very familiar with, having done The Miracle of Long John's and other pieces like that. So it's about what it takes to put together a one-person.
Do you want DGB next, or you want the umbrella, or what?
Just the umbrella, I
think.
think.
You need something of a different color.
Well, this 9 is going to be great. I'm going to put the 9 all the way up.
Let me find something.
Is that too far away?
I'll give you some other thing. I think you need a...
So this book...
Does he sing at all?
I don't think so. I don't think he is a musical theater person. He is a theater person. He has done, for 2 decades now, a one-man show about Harold Clurman called Let It Be Art. I don't know if he knew Clurman, the actor and theater teacher and theater owner, personally, but he put together a one-person show about the life and the spirit and the teachings of Harold Clurman. So he's done that. Having done that kind of solo work, he was interested in putting together, oh, look, there it goes. Look how pretty. Oh, I love it. I love it.
Trying to give you some color.
Yeah. A book about solo shows and theater people who have done one-person shows. Now, we've had a bunch of those kinds of guests, by the way, on this program over the past few months. We had, Greenberg, the one woman who did the Fanny Bryce and is still doing the Fanny Bryce show, both online and all over the country. Forgive me for not remembering her full name. No, that was Alexis Green, who's written about theater. But we also had Jessica Schur, who is doing the Betty Davis show everywhere and places like that. We've had David Cale about a year ago, who's risen up in the ranks of solo artists and cabaret artists. So yeah, if you're at all interested in Judaism, because Rabbi Saul is doing the interview, or in theater, or in one-person shows, where shall this go? How about here? This needs to be here. It's your umbrella. It's a happy little umbrella. We're just going to place it right here. And you know what? If it's a mistake, there's no such thing as mistakes. There's happy accidents. And we'll undo this happy accident and make it even happier over here. We could do that. Because, it's our canvas. And look, oh, this will give us color. This is good. We'll need this. We'll slam this puppy right here. Oh, boy. It's like I'm on this set of $1 Laugh-In, ladies and gentlemen. And then finally, where can this go? This can go...
open that shade on that window, too.
Yeah. There is no sun. That's one of the reasons it looks the way it does. Look at that. That's just a riot of something right there. But yeah, I'm digging it. Little bit busy. Maybe this goes here instead. Yeah, I'm feeling that. That's better. See, the artistic decisions, the millions of microscopic decisions I have to make every week to do this program, Dave's gone by. So here come wow, it just got lighter when you move the lights away. That's so weird. Oh, there we go. Look how pretty. Because I hope everybody had a happy Hanukkah. I hope everybody's gearing up for a very happy holidays. Oh my.
What? What?
Just say yes when I asked you, am I a moron? What? Just say it. Am I a moron?
Yes.
Okay. I looked out the window. The window's closed. I see the glass. And I know that it's been raining and stuff. And I'm like, oh my God, snow. There's snowflakes, right? And then I realized, no, it's the reflection of these lights in the window moving around. Yeah. And that's why I'm doing this and not on NBC. But anywho, I think that looks grand. I think it looks, or Rand, if you will. Anyway, so we'll be talking theater with Ronald Rand, Rabbi Saul Solomon, who did his own solo show, by the way, a few years back called Shalom Dammit, an evening...
I don't like that hanging one.
That's what she said. What do you mean? Oh, really? I thought I gave it a little zing there. How's that? Oh, that is good. That is better. So, Rabbi Saul, who did his own solo show called Shalom Dammit, an evening with Rabbi Saul Solomon, and has wanted, rather desperately, to bring it back to New York. And every time he thinks about doing it, Delta just revariates itself and makes doing theater almost impossible. I'm of so many minds about Broadway coming back over the past few months. It's fantastic. It's amazing that the quote-unquote fabulous invalid picked itself off
Oh,
from being
it
literally
really
no
didn't.
Broadway for a year.
It really
Yeah.
didn't, because there's more closings because of outbreaks.
Well, this is what's
I
scaring
think
everybody
it
now.
picked itself up when every
Yeah.
5 minutes I get, on my feed about outbreaks.
I mean, the worst was this week when audiences were in their seats, right? They had come to see Moulin Rouge, which
Oh,
features
no.
our friend Danny Burston. Audiences were in. They bought their tickets. They've been scanned in. They wore them out. They're ready. It's probably like 10 minutes before the show is beginning. And they have to cancel that night's performance because not because someone was sick or an understudy or lead couldn't go on. It was just there was a Delta or an Omicron in the country. I'm sorry, in the company, and they sent everybody home.
So what happens? They get a redo, or
Well, the audience either gets a
people?
refund or come back next time. They
Yeah, but
have to.
I mean, that's like, I would be so angry because there are people who like were stressed out, worried about COVID, got screened, got in.
Yeah.
Some people who didn't have the shot probably had to get tested.
But at the same time, you're going through all this stuff to be safe for your neighbors, and you feel for the cast and crew because somebody back there has COVID. So they've got to be careful, and you can't be on. The actors are not going to be masked. The musicians are not going to be masked. So they've got to be around each other, and now they have to be extra careful to send everybody home. What do you do?
That's sad.
And now this whole weekend.
How many people were in that theater waiting?
Well, Moulin Rouge is probably in a big musical house. I will bet it seats maybe 1,400.
Oh my God!
If it were full,
I would hate to be the person who has to go and announce that. They go out and say, "Ladies and gentlemen," they're like clapping. Woo! We're gonna see a show. It's like when a lead singer in a band isn't there or something. It's like
Well, oh my God! I mean, I will not forget one of my earliest experiences at the theater. Not my early, but Mom and Dad took me, of course, and I think with Bonnie or maybe Grandma even, to see Fiddler on the Roof on Broadway. And it was our second time. It was the last iteration of Zero Mostel.
Oh, wow.
It was her last shot to catch Zero Mostel as Tevye in Fiddler on the Roof. So, of course, we all went, right? And I went. I knew Fiddler on the Roof by then. We had the cast album. It was the one. I wasn't even a theater person, but I knew that show. And I knew, okay, Zero Mostel. And all anybody in the audience could talk about before the show started was we knew that Zero was not in the best of health. We knew, we read the story, and this is before the internet, this was before social media, but we kind of knew, oh boy, 50-50. And so the show starts, and everybody just gives a big sigh of relief. Zero! They could have wheeled him in on a stretcher, and he would have done nothing. It was like, Zero! Because he's beloved, right? And then at the beginning of Act 2, this is what I really remember. But the pogrom has happened that ruined the wedding, and then great Act 1. We come back for Act 2, and lights go down, and then there's an announcement, and everybody's just looking at each other like, oh no, because Zero, he was great, but his voice was not what it used to be. He was a little. I mean, he was fine. He was absolutely, the acting was fine, but this was not 40-year-old Zero Mostel.
He wasn't in his peak.
Right. We knew it. Nobody, like when people went to see Yul Brynner in the last iteration of The King and I, they knew he was dying of lung cancer. They knew. I don't know how good or bad he was, but they knew it was, shall we dance? Dum, bum, bum. You dance, I'll watch. Huh? Yeah. So, that's horrible. But everybody in the audience was like, oh no. They're going to get the understudy in for Act 2. And we won't get our money back or anything because we saw Zero in Act 1, but he's not well enough. But no, it was something about, please remember, well, nobody had cell phones back there. And I don't even know what they were asking people to do. I think it was just, please take your seats and the show will start in 2 minutes kind of announcement on the loudspeaker. But everybody panicked because like, oh, well, there goes Zero. That's it. And happily we did, and that was the last time, obviously I saw Zero Mostel on stage was in that Fiddler on the Roof. But that thing of canceling at the last minute. It does happen, and it sucks. I remember I went to see, I had a matinee. I schlepped into the city because I was coming from Long Island, and Barbara Cook was in, she was in, I think, a Sondheim tribute show. It was either a Barbara Cook thing, or she was part of a Stephen Sondheim review kind of show. And I get to the theater, happily about 10 minutes early, and it's canceled. She wasn't feeling well. I'm sure the producers, I'm sure the box office would have loved to have known that the night before. And the press agents would have loved to have known, oh, well, better cancel that and better warn the people. They could, she woke up, she wasn't up to snuff, and she probably made a decision by 11 o'clock in the morning, not going to happen. Or her doctor told her, you shouldn't. Well, at that point, all the gears are in motion. And
David, when's the last time an actor can call for an understudy, like right before? Like if let's say you eat something, like, you eat something and you get food poisoning and you don't know, and then you're in your dressing room, you're all dressed up, 10 minutes
if you're in the dressing
room
and you start vomiting and you're an actor,
yeah.
You call the equity stage manager over, I can't go on.
Oh, really?
Yeah. People have been injured.
And somebody runs up and does it? Like that's the problem.
I have a story. Of course I have a story.
Tell me,
I have a story.
Diga.
I don't know if I've told this one on the air before, but I went to see, I think it was Inherit the Wind. Inherit the Wind on Broadway, it's about 20 years ago now, with one of the great actors ever been on the stage, George C. Scott. Right? George C. In fact, I should tell this with David Sheward here, because David Sheward wrote the book, literally, on George C. Scott. And so I'm watching it, and again, Scott is not in the best of health or best of condition, but he's George C. freaking Scott. It's magnificent to see him. And he's still good. He's really good, right? So I'm watching, and then first act, fine. Second act, more than halfway through the second act. Okay. And this, I believe, was a revival that was being done by the National Actors Theater, which was this idea of having an American actor.
Revival should be the key word.
What? I heard the wind is great. Oh, well. No, but how London theater is subsidized. A lot of countries actually have government money subsidizing major, the Royal National Theatre in Britain is an institution, quite literally. It isn't just a commercial enterprise. So there's at least one big, I wouldn't say commercial, important major theater that is going to be there, whether it's a hit or a flop or whatever, is doing major work in it there to represent acting at its finest, directing, playwriting at its finest. So they created something like that to have a place like that on Broadway. It ended up failing after a couple of years, but okay. They did some very good work. And one of the great things I wanted to see there was Inherit the Wind, right? A classical play about, the Scopes monkey trial. And Darwin, and I forget the guy's name, but the professor was teaching Darwin in the South, and Southerners didn't like it, and so forth. So, watching this, first act fine, second act fine, with about 20 minutes left in the play, a scene ends, the lights kind of stop, and we get an announcement that we're very sorry, we have to make a change. Mr. Scott hasn't been feeling too well. And at that point, it wasn't just because, but he really wasn't feeling too well. So the play stops for about 5 minutes. And then, rather than send us home, because it was that late into the show, whom do you think bounds out on stage, script in hand, to take the place of George C. Scott?
I hope it's Angela Lansbury.
Was not Angela Lansbury.
Are you sure?
Yeah, I was there. I remember.
It must have. Oh, was it Felix Unger?
You do remember?
Yeah, I had a feeling it was Tony Randall.
Tony Randall.
Because Tony Randall was everywhere. He was every show. He was roaming all around. I think he just roamed the city like a vampire.
Well, Tony Randall was the founder of the National Actors Theatre, so it was his baby. So when he realized, oh my God, George said, the show must go on. The people are there to see this important play. Who will play? I will. He comes out with a script, and he was fine, except he was reading the piece, and we were all just sort of shell shocked because we've been watching this character throughout the play, and suddenly it was one guy, and now it's a guy with a script, and it's Felix Unger. So and Tony Randall is a really good actor. I mean, I saw him in M. Butterfly, and he was quite good. I mean, it's not as if, oh my God, Tony Randall. But it was just this moment of the weirdest, most instantaneous substitution I've ever seen in the theater. And I don't know why they can't do that with the COVID thing. I don't know why they can't just say, oh, you have thing, and everybody around you has been, well, I guess because of contact tracing, everybody is around each other. It's not as if they're not.
Theater thing, like even if you're not on set, the theater backstage is small. You probably run across each other in rehearsals, right? Tech, all that stuff.
And you're together for more than a minute or two if you're acting together.
Yeah, I mean, the doctor told me early on, like think about like more than 5-10 minutes. The longer you're in it, and not only that, but it's not people. This is what makes me crazy about people not understanding stuff. It's like the idiocy. It's not just when you cough or sneeze. It's the direct transmission, but it's in the air.
Well,
the
sure,
particles
droplets
of the virus, right? The infectious part is in the air.
Right.
So if you're in an enclosed theater, it's like an ice chest, and you're all in there breathing the same air with the same exposure. That's why wearing a mask when you're in my room, but not other rooms of the house, you're still exposing me because.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't hang in the air for more than a.
No, but it does. Take the Cornell course. I took the Cornell course.
Yeah.
You can't. The more you're in a small environment with people constantly breathing out,
sure.
Stuff. It's idiocy.
Well, that's idiocy. Well, I mean, but look what they've done. I mean, this is going to be the way of probably some Broadway shows now. Is Radio City, the Rockettes have canceled all performances up until like the day after Christmas.
That's smart.
In a way, I don't know why. If they're doing it, I don't know why other places aren't.
The problem is that now you're in the point where people need money. So this is the whole thing. Do you follow? Nobody follows public health protocols. They're led by money. Because if people followed public health protocols, if states, the countries, whatever, we could have stopped this mutation process or slowed it.
Yes. Right. We couldn't. It's there. Yeah.
If you get high vaccination rates, if people follow protocols, you can reduce transmission. That's a public health preventative strategy. Right. It's not a mystery to anybody who has any training in public health.
Right.
It's just that people think they know and they don't know, and they do things that they think are right, but they don't have training and they don't get proper education, and then we have this situation.
Because Broadway theaters have been bending over backwards to try, and everybody masked. We're checking your.
Do they have filtration systems?
Yes, they've all put in these air filter things.
Do they really check people's COVID vaccinations?
Well, they don't give you what do you call they don't take your temperature.
And you don't have to be febrile to be. You could be asymptomatic and be shedding stuff left and right. I think it's this desire for money over safety, right? So
no, you know what?
I think
some of that is that. Some of it is also people. Whether they're audience members, whether they're actors, whether they're producers, they're just, after 19 months, sick to death. I mean, they're not sick. They're just, emotionally like, enough.
Yeah.
This is a disease that is killing less than 1% of the population. It's probably not going to kill me.
But what bothers me is that there are people who don't have, I have pre-existing health stuff, right?
Yes.
So if I get it, I'm dead, right? I will have severe. I mean, I know. I've been told.
Fine.
So, or I'll be really sick, and I don't want to go in a hospital. So so what happens is people who don't think they have chronic stuff are lax, and they put other people at risk. You don't know what the person next to you has.
True.
You don't know what diseases, what illnesses. You don't know their immune status. So people who are quote unquote healthy maybe could survive it. I know many people who have, but you don't know what people have, and you don't know the risk that you're putting.
But you're
threatening people's lives.
Yeah, but you're also knocking people who have both vaccinations, are wearing masks everywhere, have taken, even at this point, millions of people have taken the booster, and they're still getting it. So to say people, they're just lackadaisical. People are doing what they're told to do.
No, I don't. You can do whatever you want, But don't spread your stuff to me.
Well,
Be
duh.
responsible.
No, but I'm saying it's sort of, there's people who haven't gotten one vaccination because they don't believe in the mandates, or they are convinced that big pharma is behind all of this.
Not your argument is about why theaters and stuff open.
Yeah.
When you bring people in closed spaces, that's the risk.
It is, but at a certain point, you could say, well, they should have shut down all the supermarkets. Because you're putting people in a building
in theater,
on lines.
People take off their masks.
They don't.
When they have drinks or whatever.
Well, that's restaurants, yeah.
So like I think that it's it's hard. I mean, it's hard.
It's hard. It's terrible.
Because some people can get COVID and survive, and
True.
I've experienced many people who are healthy, quote unquote,
mm-hmm.
and they get it, and they're a long hauler.
Oh yeah.
And they have like I was telling my mother. Hospitals are opening, so they have like diabetes clinics or endocrine clinics.
Yeah.
Many hospitals are opening COVID, like a COVID place where you can get all of the related symptoms on the body systems from COVID.
Yeah.
In that one place, right? So it's like a one-stop shop for all the conditions, right?
Oh.
The headache, the heart, the lung,
Clever.
Every organ system.
Right.
They do it in one place because those are so. I think like I don't know.
What?
I think it's we live in a country where the collective good is not valued, and that's the problem.
I think
that's
70 to 80% of the population.
The collective good is not. Think of Sweden. Think of other places I've been. It's like you give a little of yourself for a greater good. I don't think we have that philosophy.
Look at England, man. They went when COVID hit. They were right on it, and they shut all the theaters. They shut everything down, and were really draconian measures. But England's hit too. If God wants to get you with a viral disease or fate.
I mean, I think everybody's gonna get it or get something, but I think you can. I think I'm not talking about. I know how infection happens. I have an MPH. I'm not an idiot, but I think there's personal responsibility for people's actions, and I think people are not aware, or people are not responsible in their actions, and that's the problem for me. And what's the root of it? Is it that you don't care for other people, that you care more about financial interest? I think that's the issue for me, right? If everybody tried to do harder, better, more, we would be in a better position. I think
what happened was people were hyper reactive, hyper aware, hyper caring for 6 to 8 months, and then you just
there's fatigue.
It's like my grandmother. I don't have any grandparents left, but my grandmother is 80-something years old. I didn't get to see her last Christmas.
Yeah.
If I don't see her this Christmas, I may never see her again. I'm getting on a plane, and I don't give. I'm going to go see her, and that's people end up making those kinds of decisions too.
Well, I told you the New York Times did a piece, and they interviewed like thousands of therapists where they can't provide enough mental health support because people are so. And the ages are younger. I mean, it's all across people, but people are fatigued.
They're burned out.
Yeah, of course.
Absolutely.
And everybody's working from home, so you're working 24/7. It's like, or you're, and the kids weren't in school. I mean, I think it's a heavy lift.
NYU moved its midterm, it's January or December graduations indoors.
300 cases.
Yeah.
And they're like, what do we do? So this is the time when, people gotta check their stuff, Bubba.
Well, people are. I mean, it sucks when there is a difference between people who haven't gotten any shots and are protesting against vaccine mandates, and that's one thing. But there's also millions of people who have done quite a lot and continue to do quite a lot, and are still, to say that they're lackadaisical and doing nothing. It's like, no, we were told, wear a mask in certain situations, get your vaccination, get your booster, and don't be ridiculous. Don't go on spring break and dance half naked with a bunch of people with no mask and that. So they don't. And they've been careful, and we're all still getting hit. And people who've been double vaxxed have gotten. I work with someone who was double vaxxed and got on a plane and got COVID.
There are people who don't have the luxury. So, right, think about people who are like the Instacart people, or all the people who are doing the service work. They don't have the luxury of doing remote work. I think we're just in a.
This is the way we work too. In this, as people, we're early in the pandemic, back in March, April, May, 2020, June 2020. It was like, oh no, I'm not going to walk into a restaurant. I'm not going to pick up any food. I'm not going to go, the restaurants are closed. I'm not even going to go to the super. Let's order on it. We'll be safe, because we're white middle class. We're going to be safe. We'll just order. Well, somebody has to go still into the supermarkets, into the restaurants, get in the car, go to the door, walk outside, wear a mask, wear gloves at that point.
Or even like the teachers, when COVID first happened. So I'm blessed that I have a medical team, but I'm unfortunate that I need a medical team.
Yeah.
But one of the doctors on the medical team, so her specialty is not like urgent care, emergency care, but they pulled everybody. So the major hospitals pulled everybody in. I mean, it was.
Yeah, but think about it even this way. It's like for a while with both our jobs, we were like, don't come in, work from home, or don't even work. You have a free vacation week, go ahead, and then we'll figure out things for you to do from home. Meanwhile, there's people who deliver mail. They've got to. That's good. Then they've got to deliver mail, and there was no break for them. It's just here's the protocols, follow them, but they didn't have the option. So there's that too, where there's people who never had the option not to go to work and be around people, not to stand at a counter and hand out stamps. I mean, it was just, that was there. And they did it.
Who told me? I was reading something. Where was I reading it? Probably in my Google feed. That, it was like it's one of these like agony ants where you ask somebody.
Yeah. And
the person was saying that it was a company. It was like a business, right? Some kind of business company. And she was saying, the writer, I guess it was a woman, I don't recall, that they were forcing her back. Like, that they were going to force them back. It was like a weird...
Although these decisions were made before Omicron became... That's fair, too. Nobody... I don't think even Fauci was anticipating the way that Omicron would...
I think he was. I think everybody who knows about viruses, when you don't get the groundswell of people who are vaccinated... And the virus is in people and it's mutating. It's like HIV. It's like influenza. It's like every virus, or this is a retrovirus, but or any type of virus like this virus. You know the progression of the virus. You can do it. You can do an analytical model of what's going to happen. He knew what was going to happen.
Well, no, everybody knew there'd be waves. We all thought first wave, second wave,
not
third.
Waves. This is mutation. The virus is changing.
But then you're going to get the Republicans and the people who say, had we just gone with herd immunity, we wouldn't have these mutations that don't even care about the vaccination. The vaccination caused more and further and quicker mutations because the virus wanted to stay alive and figured out ways to beat Pfizer and beat Moderna and certainly beat and again, how do you tell people to say,
Sin wrote, she said, Cynthia Gold, she said, don't forget people who don't believe it exists.
That's just...
That's meta.
Yeah,
that's meta.
That's going away. That is so far beyond... I mean, it's one thing to say it's not as serious as everybody makes it. It's one thing to say all these people who really died of flu last winter and happen to have COVID, they say died of COVID. No,
that's like my mom's friend who believes if you put tinfoil in your pants, it'll stop.
I agree with that too. There are people who would have just died of whatever, and then they found COVID in the blood. They died of COVID. No. But to say that it doesn't exist, that is cloud cuckoo land. That's off the. Well, we are. But here's something that made me happy this week. And did you hear? And this is my horrible. Did you hear what happened in Australia?
Vigo.
5 children died.
Oh my God, that's horrible.
It's horrible, but great. Do you know how they died?
I don't. Oh God, what?
They were playing.
Yeah.
And wind, like a big, almost not a tornado, but like a big windstorm came.
Yeah.
And just picked them up.
Oh, that's like Dorothy, right? Like Dorothy.
Guess what they were playing in?
Oh no, this is your bouncy castle?
They were in a bouncy house! Apparently the wind just picked up the bouncy house and blew it 30 feet in the air, and then they slammed down and died.
Oh my God, what a horrible thing!
Well, first of all, that's bad advertising. Obviously, it's not bouncy.
God, that's horrible.
If they were bouncing, they'd be okay. It is not a bouncy house at all. At least they were having a ball before they died. But you know.
That's horrible.
Yes,
Like,
I can say.
imagine the poor parents watching that. Like, I think it's horrible when you experience an accident, but for me, when you watch an accident unfold.
Yeah, oh no, obviously I would not want
God.
to be looking at that.
Oh my God.
But you know, one thing I've always wanted to do before I die is go in a bouncy house.
You're not getting a bouncy house.
I want a bouncy
no
house.
Way.
Why?
Obviously, you just gave a story where people died in a bouncy house.
But that's Australia with wind things and stuff. I'm not in
Here,
Kansas.
Kansas, yeah.
But no, we're out here. We just tie the bouncy house to a tree or something, and I could bounce around. What a wonderful birthday. No. It's just it wouldn't occur to me that you could anything bad could happen in a bouncy house.
I would think they're like a fun place, but that's
exactly.
horrible. I feel bad for them.
Well, yes, obviously I feel bad. It didn't really make my week to find out that 5 children died, but the way that they died was, I admit, it's kind of cool. Anywho, with that, I'm Dave Lefkowitz, reminding you that you're watching Dave's Gone By. This is our 829th episode of the show. We're calling it Rand Total, in honor of our guest who's been waiting patiently in the waiting room. He's been a little early, but that's fantastic. His name is Ronald Rand. He is the publisher of the long-running newspaper, The Soul.
What time is he going?
10? Of the American Actor. He is also the author of a brand new book about doing solo theater, interviewing all these rather famous people who have done solo shows. And the name of that book, it's called Solo Transformation on Stage. Solo Transformation on Stage. And you'll want to get a copy of that. We'll be talking to him in just a couple of minutes. But first, I do want to remind you that if you have missed any of the previous 828 episodes that we've done. Now, a couple of them are lost to history. A couple of them had some technical difficulties. But about 825 or so of them are still there. They're saved. They're available. You can listen to or watch every single one of them. So if you missed any along the way in the past 19 and a half years, this is your opportunity. For free, you can start sequentially, start with our very first episode and catch up with us all these years. Let's say you've never tuned into this show before and you heard, oh, Ronald Rand is going to be on. This is great. Let me tune this in. So, and then you're like, hey, this show is pretty cool or it's pretty horrible or anywhere in between. I wonder what the shows were like before this one. So you start going back to our first 57-minute episode and the one after that and then the 90-minute ones and all the ones. And you know, it'll take you a couple of years to do that at this point, but fine. It's all at davesgoneby.com. DAVESGONEBY, davesgoneby.com. You can either stream or download the episodes. So, you know, if you're, oh, I don't want to load that onto my computer, I don't have the space, or I don't want to get any viruses. So, fine, you can play it without downloading it. Either way. Plus, we have a separate archive on davesgoneby.com if you just want to hear some of the interviews. We're going to be talking with Ronald Rand in just a couple of minutes, and he's interviewed hundreds of actors over the years. Well, we've interviewed hundreds of actors too, some rather famous ones. Are you curious which? Go to the archive at davesgoneby.com. We also post our archives at archive.org, which is a nonprofit website that is devoted to just collecting art and entertainment from the past hundreds of years. All these public domain books, pieces of literature, old radio shows, music. It's just this millions of things on this archive.org site, and we have a channel there. Dave's Gone By. It's the same stuff we put on davesgoneby.com. We're just thrilled to have this other platform. Plus, if you go to castbox.fm, that is where you can hear just our audio. So whether it's the shows that were meant to be audio because they were on radio, or our recent shows, if you just care about hearing the program, oh no, don't go away.
What happened?
He
left?
Ronald, come back. Come back, Ronald. Literally, he's supposed to go on in 2 minutes, and he just left. Ah!
He might not think he's in the right place.
Come back, Ronald. Oh, no.
Give me your phone.
Oh, here. Oh, he's back. He's back. So, castbox.fm is the place where if you're on the go, if you're going to the gym.
You can chat people. Just chat and say to him, I'll let you in a minute.
Can I do? Oh, he'll see it.
Yeah.
Oh, he'll see that.
It should be you can chat people in the waiting room, I think. Yeah.
Hey, cool. Oh, I'm hoping. I guess maybe I'll see that. That's great. Whoops. No, I don't. Get rid of that. Okay. So, and reminding you that we have a YouTube channel called Dave's Gone By, and if you are in Nassau County and you have cable TV, you can see an hour-long excerpt of the program every Tuesday night, 9:30 to 10:30 p.m. Prime time, Channel 20 on Altice Cable. So if you're, it's not the best way to watch the show, but if you're watching TV and you're like, oh my God, it's Dave. Yep. Tuesday nights, 9:30 in the evening, Eastern Time, on Channel 20 on cable. Well, it's time to get theatrical and Hebraical as we bring Ronald Rand into the Daverhood to talk not to me, alas, but to the one, the only, the Jewish Rabbi Sal Solomon here on Dave's Gone By. It's going to be a blast. Don't miss it. Audio Jungle. Audio Jungle. Audio Jungle. Hi. Audio Jungle. Diddle diddle die, yay diddle 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 die, hey die diddle die, diddle diddle die, diddle die 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 dum, hey. Diddle die, yay die 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 dum, yay diddle die diddle diddle dum. Shalom, my friends, shalom, my enemies. This is your old pal, Rabbi Sal Solomon, founder and spiritual leader of Temple Sons of Bitches in Great Neck, New York. And I am thrilled and delighted to be talking theater. I have done some theater myself. I did a show called Shalom Damn It, An Evening with Me, that we did off Broadway a few years ago. It was brilliant. It was genius. What's beyond genius? It was super genius. Anywho, it's a one-person show. Someone who knows quite a lot about that is our guest in the Daverhood. His name is Ronald Rand, because not only has he been doing a show about Harold Clurman for the past 25 years, but he's just written a book called Solo Transformation on Stage, all about what it takes to put on one-man shows with all these interviews of very famous people who've done that. So, ladies and gentlemen, won't you please welcome to the Daverhood on this Shabbos, Ronald, who has to unmute his mic, Ronald Rand. Shalom, Ronald. Well, you still have to unmute your mic. Let's unmute that thing.
You can ask.
I am doing that as we speak.
Second. There we go. How's that? That's much better. Hey, there we go.
Shalom.
Happy New Year.
Good morning to you. How is your Shabbos going?
Well, wonderful to see you. Happy New Year, and I'm so grateful and thankful for you having me on your show. I've watched it for many years, and there's nothing like it on the planet. That's the given truth.
That should be on my tombstone. There's nothing like it on the planet. There's this. But Shalom, you look so cheery. Well, you must be cheery because you got a new book coming out, and this is.
I did. Yes.
So
I'm very excited about it.
What was the impetus to create? Because you've got the newspaper, The Soul of the American Actor. You've written books about acting. Why particularly a solo, or a book about solos?
Well, I've been touring for the past 20 years in my own show, Let It Be Art. And of course, I had no idea that I would ever write a book about this at this moment. But here we were sequestered, and I was shut down for 18 months, and I couldn't perform. So I had just
sounds like me in the bedroom, but I'm sorry. Kidding.
I had just performed the show in Alabama, and it was the last performance, in a sense,
Hold on.
theater.
You're frozen. Yeah. Just one sec. You're frozen
Yes.
there for a moment. You're
Oh.
we're having a little bit of a Zoom issue. Okay, now you're good. Wait, don't go away.
Okay.
You're here. You're good.
Okay, I promise.
So you're in
Well,
Alabama, where
Yes.
all the elephants need dentists because the Tuscaloosa. But I don't know what that means. How did it go in Alabama?
Well, great. We had a full house, standing ovation. It was marvelous, and nobody wanted to leave at the end of the show. It was just incredible. And of course, after that, everything was down. And there
Well, that
I
was back in March. You did in March of 2020.
back at the end of February, actually. Yeah, a year and a half ago, more than that. And so I decided that I wasn't going to go back to New York City at that moment. And so I was down here in Alabama, and I was with my beautiful girlfriend, whom I love with, Martha Carpenter. This is her beautiful studio behind me.
Yeah,
So,
wow.
wow. Yeah, you can see some of her magnificent paintings up there. She's one of the
nice
premier
place
artists of America. So so here I am, and I was thinking to myself, if I can't travel and I can't teach, because I also had a workshop planned, and I thought, well, what better way than to put down my ideas and maybe share about what has happened and how I've made my dreams come true to help others make their dreams come true.
Now, see, this is where we're different, because everybody puts down my ideas. So, unfortunate. So what, there have been millions and millions of books about the theater. What does your book about solo transformation on stage add to the knowledge of the canon?
Sure. Well, actually, there's not that many books about doing a one-person show and solo performance. There's only less than 10, or maybe even 7 or 8. So I thought, well, there is no book out there that actually a solo it for 20 years, who wrote their own show and also has had the experience of performing in 25 countries, in 20 states. I represented the United States in the World Theater Olympics, and I've been able to perform.
Stop.
Yes.
The what? The world? There's a World Theater Olympics? What the hell is that? I've never heard of this.
The Theater Olympics is the same exactly as the regular Olympics, and it's done every year for the past 10, 12 years, all over. They pick a city around the world. I happen to be in India, in New Delhi, and they invite artists from 60, 70 countries to come and participate. And I actually performed in New Delhi, and then I flew all the way down to Kerala to perform in their theater down there. And
this is where we're different, because I was in New Delhi on Friday. It was Grossburgers down on 15th Street. Kosher style. It's not really kosher. So I mean, how come nobody, with all due respect, nobody has heard of the Theater Olympics? Why are they keeping everybody's heard of the Olympics? How is this a secret? Why are they not spreading the word? Every theater person should know about it.
Well, I think in the theater, or probably those who do know about it. I think if you have a solo show, or if you're performing with the theater ensemble touring around the world, you know about it. Mm-hmm. If you're surfing the internet, it's on Facebook and it's put out there, but it hasn't gotten the same kind of press that, of course, the Olympics have gotten.
No, not even the Winter Olympics, which suck. But
it's probably because we don't have the sponsors and that kind of thing. But
you were doing the Harold Clurman thing at the. Oh, thank you very much.
I did it at the Theater Olympics twice. I did it at the Kamani Auditorium in New Delhi, which is their most prestigious auditorium. Again, I have to say, to a standing ovation, it was magnificent. And because we have audiences who are young, who are more mature, and it doesn't matter. Once they meet Harold Clurman, and even if they've never ever heard of him, they are just blown away by his dynamic personality, and they don't want to leave the theater. And it's the same everywhere I've traveled.
What, of all the different subjects that people make shows about, and everybody does bio shows on this program, I have interviewed a woman doing Fanny Bryce, I've interviewed a woman doing Betty Davis. So what was the draw to you 25-something years ago to Harold Clurman?
Well, Harold Clurman was one of my teachers. And I was very fortunate to study with him. I studied with Stella Adler for over 5 years, and she talked all about Harold Clurman. And when I was in the 7th and 8th grade, I read The Fervent Years. I read everything on the group theater because I was a theater,
Sure.
lover. I began acting when I was about 5, 6 years old. So I knew that I had to study with Stella Adler. And then when I heard Harold Clurman was teaching, I had to study with him. But I had no idea that I would ever do a show and bring Harold Clurman to life. And so what happened is I began to, after I had studied with Stella and began to discover that Stella Adler had written in the introduction to The Fervent Years, if his legacy was lost, it would be one of the greatest catastrophes in the world. And nobody really knew that much about Clurman, except for us in the theater, because he was the elder statesman of the American theater and the theatrical conscience of the theater for 50 years. However, he was not Lee Strasberg and he was not Stella Adler, and he was extremely flamboyant. So I started writing a full-length play called The Group, about the group theater. And I did that for 15 years at many theaters off Broadway, at the Actors Studio, at the York Theater, at the Stella Adler Theater, at the Harold Clurman Theater. And then I really realized that the only way to actually meet Harold, and I was embodying Harold in the full-length play, was to, in a sense, create a solo show, but I did not write it. I asked Harold, what do you want to say? And I listened, and he told me what he wanted to say to us.
Wow.
And
So he gave you a blessing. I mean, he was alive when you started working on the play about him, featuring him, and he said, go ahead.
But he wasn't alive. He had died in 1980. So I had to invite him to come and to listen. And that's, in a sense, how a lot of my work has been written. It's the same thing with my full-length movie. I wrote the screenplay, the first film ever about the group theater, called Group Paradise. I've just finished a new opera. Well, actually, we've been working on it for 10 years, and it feels like we just finished it. And the same thing, I listened in my dreams while I was sleeping, and Henrik Ibsen came through and I wrote it down in the dark. And that's how a lot of these works have been written. And that's how.
You're losing. I mean, I have to say, I mean, I talk to God all the time. Not talk back. And if he did talk, it would be just a flurry of invective. But so this is getting like you dream and you remember dreams, but it's just a dream. You're not actually having weird psychotic conversations.
Well, you are hearing words, and you're writing them down in the dark because it's the only way to enter that other realm, to allow to connect. And I talk about this in my book, Solo Transformation on Stage. I talk about leaving yourself open to allow yourself to hear and to listen carefully to what, in a sense, whoever you're going to bring to life, what they want to say and what they need to say. And it's the same thing with Clurman, what he has to say at this moment and what he's been saying for 20 years in my show. But when Ibsen came, why did he come? He has something to say to us. And that's why what he says in the opera, and it is the first opera ever written about Ibsen. And I've been working on it for 10 years with a composer, Hartmut von Leers, and he's in India and I'm in America. And so we've been going back and forth, but it's almost complete. But it's the same way. Whatever you work on, you leave yourself open. And it's what happens in my transformation. And I can talk more about that.
Well, are there exercises you can do? Because I am one of the most tight-assed, closed-off personalities you're ever going to meet anywhere.
I don't know about
anybody's ideas but my own. What would be ways that I could open myself? So let's say I wanted to do a play about Rabbi Schneerson, which
yes.
I've gotten 3 pages in. I crumpled them up. There's a great sex scene, but not appropriate. So how would let's say I really wanted to commune with the late, great Rabbi. How would I bring myself to dream about him or to reach him?
Well, the first thing, of course, is you naturally, since he's a real person, you have to do an enormous amount of research about his life. And if there are video clips, you have to watch him and begin to understand how he moves and how he connects to the earth and how he listens and how he speaks and all of the different physicalities that who he was. And then you've got to begin to explore his writings and begin to get inside how he began to express himself as a human being. Because one of the things that I also talk about in solo transformation on stage is you're not playing a character, you're embodying a human being. And in my book, I also share and go in depth in this chart. And if you can see it, it's the actual Stanislavski chart that Stanislavski wrote himself and gave to Stella Adler. And it's in my book, and it's a step-by-step guide about how you begin to explore the way to create a human being and not just play a character. And that way you're not separated. So as you're working on this and you begin to explore his writings and see how he's listening to God and to people around him, then you begin to allow that to enter you physically. And that's the first way. How does he move? What is different between you and him? And then the next step, of course, is yes, in your dreams, and you will dream about him. What comes, you see, and then in the darkness.
Not me. I'm not that type. But there's anything. Just teasing there. Let me ask you something though. This is interesting. Let's say you have a couple of actors who are going up for the role of Roy Cohn in Angels of America, right?
Oh, sure.
So Roy Cohn, a real person, a real whatever. But some people will say, let's say there's 5 different actors up for the role, and some of them actually look and almost Rich Little embody physically and they can impersonate, versus someone who can play Roy Cohn, looks nothing like Roy Cohn, but is emotionally right for the role. Is one preferable to the other, or what?
Well, just like I saw the original production and the fabulous actor who played him, and I've seen several productions over the years. Yes, if you're going to embody a person who people know about, there should be aspects of yourself that will familiarize them with who that person is. It's just like Nicole Kidman bringing Lucille Ball alive. Look at what she had to do to transform herself to become Lucy. I mean, there is certain things we as an audience expect to see. So you're not going to cast somebody who's 6'4" to play Roy Cohn because he was not that tall. So it won't exactly look like him, and people will go, that's not Roy Cohn, it's somebody looking or acting like him.
No, but let's say you're also doing, there's an off-Broadway show called Nixon's Nixon, right?
Yes.
So you got Richard Nixon and Henry Kissinger. How Nixon-y does Nixon have to be? How Henry Kissinger does Henry Kissinger have to? I mean, or can you just kind of do a little bit, but more importantly is getting the story across and getting their dynamic of their relationship across?
Well, when I was growing up in Miami in Coral Gables, one of the things I did end up doing was doing stand-up, and I did a lot of impressions. And Nixon was one of them. There's no question about it. And when I did Richard Nixon, I understood what kind of a man he was. And so I began to embody him and do him in my, stand-up routines. But to bring him on stage, it's part of a play. You're always going back to what the playwright is expressing in the directions, what the director's vision is, and all of that has to come together for the production. So it really encompasses the vision of the whole play. And when you're going to bring that to the audience, they have to see the play come to life. And so you do have to find someone. I know when Nixon's Nixon was done, and I saw, of course, Frank Langella play Nixon on Broadway and in the movie, he, of course, transformed himself. And you still knew it was Frank, but you knew it was Nixon. And that happens. When I embody Harold Clurman, I go through a 2.5-hour transformation in what I call the creation room. It's not a dressing room. It's actually a place where creation comes. And during the makeup, I'm getting into his clothing, I don't wear costumes, I wear his clothing. And I actually have a cape that is an exact duplicate of the cape he wore that was given to me by someone who went to the theater with him night after night on Broadway. And so when I get into his clothing and begin to do his makeup, for want of a better phrase, Clurman comes. And I can't describe it any other way than saying he enters me. And I allow myself to be a vessel and I embody him so that he comes and I'm not, me anymore.
All right, but just from practicality, 2.5 hours to get quote unquote. How do you then do a Saturday where you have a 2 o'clock and an 8 o'clock? I mean, do you literally get to the theater at 11 a.m., you become him at 2 o'clock, and then you do it, and then go have dinner, and then you get back at like what 6:30 for an 8 o'clock show, and take another 2.5. Well, not even, but
Yes, yes. The diet and everything that I do in between and everything that it takes is absolutely essential. I have to give myself, allow myself the time, just as I did to prepare for Dave Lefkowitz in front of me.
Dave Lefkowitz is not in front of you. I'm Rabbi Solomon. Should
Rabbi
have prepared a
Solomon.
little bit more so you would know that. Right, rather
So
easy
true.
preparation. I introduced myself at the beginning of the segment. I said, "Shalom, Rabbi
He
Solomon."
went through an
Yeah,
extraordinary transformation. It's
no,
so
right?
true.
You can never.
The rabbi is here.
The rabbi.
But
Let me
it's
ask you.
true. I have to do that. I do have to do that because essentially that's the only way that I allow him. And it's the same way, though, whether I'm playing Captain Keller in The Miracle Worker, I'm doing the stage manager in Our Town. I have to allow myself to enter the world of the play. I have to allow myself the time to enter the world of this human being and who they are, where they live. And it's totally different than me. And, I don't want to be an actor who plays aspects of myself acting like some character. I want to bring that human being alive because just like the rabbi has to live where he lives, I have to live where I live.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but also, then let me ask you in terms of since I happen to be Jewish, and I'm guessing that you are not. You do not look it, and you do not. But
I've
that's
had
the
a Jewish
component.
background.
You do? Oh, man, tell me.
Well, I've been a believer in many, many faiths over the years, but I was raised that way. And over the years, because I have traveled to so many countries and spent so much time in temples and mosques and so many different religious institutions, that I feel now that I'm more spiritually connected to everyone that way. But yes, it is part of my upbringing. And so it does add to who I am as a human being, but spiritually, I've discovered that becoming a cultural ambassador to the world, I feel incredibly connected when I'm in a mosque or in a Hindu temple or in a church. And there's something that just comes alive for me, and I can't describe it.
You've been doing this for many years now, being the cultural goodwill. Is it a United Nations thing, or is it just who?
No, it's a cultural theater ambassador because I received, in a sense, that way in which to call myself at the very, very beginning when I went on the road with my show to Tbilisi, Georgia. The festival director said, "You're really a goodwill cultural ambassador." I said, "I guess I am." And I guess, in a
You
sense,
just took that. And by the way,
that mantle has sort of been passed to me. In a sense, I've also discovered that John Gielgud and Laurence Olivier and many others traveled around the world, as many do, being goodwill cultural ambassadors, being a bridge of mutual understanding between peoples through the theater and through art. And that's what I, in a sense, have become.
now we're talking with Ronald Rand, the author of Solo Transformation on Stage, also the publisher of the Soul of the American Actor newspaper, who's saying that he has spent all these years not just bringing Harold Clurman to off-Broadway theaters and the festivals, but literally going everywhere. Tell us some funny or scary or amazing stories in one of these 22 countries. It could be India, it could be Georgia, which is not that far from Atlanta, really. I mean, at least you can walk it. But no, but what are some amazing like nights or afternoons that you've had in another country where it's like, what a story?
Well, I mean, one time I was performing in the Palace Al Makzan in Tangier. I was in the marble courtyard, which is a museum now, but it was the original palace back in the 15th, 16th century of those who had, rulers of Morocco. And during the performance, because it's right near the Mediterranean Sea, seagulls came down and landed on the chairs and were flying inside Harold's apartment during the performance. Now, I can't say that happens too regularly, but it happened during that show.
It's a shame you
Another
weren't
time,
performing the seagull. That would be a perfect thing.
it would have been perfect for Chekhov.
Being
Exactly.
says, "I am a seagull." No, that's a seagull right there. What the hell's wrong with you?
Exactly. Another time I was preparing a show in Nepal, in Kathmandu, and I was in my creation room, and Harold Clurman, of course, always has to leave from the creation room, and in my imagination, he's going to his apartment, and of course, he arrives in his apartment, but in between that, he had to actually travel across a balcony outside the theater to come into the theater, and on my way, as Clurman was walking inside, I could see 150 miles away, the top of the Himalayan mountains in the distance. Now, that's not a sight you see every day
No,
when you're about to go on stage. So it's just amazing, being in these extraordinary places. I've been in Turkey and in many countries where you hear, of course, the call to prayers as you're preparing. And that is not something usually here in America.
Well, did you encounter, depending on who our president was at the time, any kind of anti-Western or anti-Semitic or anti-whatever sentiment, or because you were a goodwill ambassador and just bringing a show, everything was sweetness and light?
I have never, ever encountered anything. I've been very blessed for 20 years in 25 countries, always being surrounded by beautiful people. I can't describe it any other way. I also wear, you might say this, this is the rare stone of New Zealand. And I wear this
like that. It's painful.
And I wear this everywhere I travel. It was gifted to me by a shaman, Marilis Tranto, and it has enormous protection. The Maori warriors had actually crafted these for thousands of years for their chiefs. And if anyone else wore them, that was the end of you. But for the last 20, 30 years, the Maoris have allowed us to wear them. And it brings me enormous protection as I travel. And that's the way I think. And people that I've come in contact with have always been giving and loving and caring. And that's the way it's always been, because that's why I go. It's to share love.
Well, speaking of being protected, if you will, now that everybody thought we were coming out of the pandemic, and people thought, oh, I'm going to do a show here, I'm going to get a plane there, I'm going to book a theater for a week here. Have you sort of stalled on? I mean, what are you doing in 2022?
Well, I actually just did a show a couple of months ago in Athens, Greece. I traveled there, and it was quite an experience on the plane and getting all the tests and everything done. But we were wearing masks for the most part in the workshops. And I went there. Of course, Harold Clurman wasn't wearing a mask doing a show, but a lot of the students and the people in the audience were.
He has a cigar. It's going to be a little difficult to kind of like.
Exactly.
Yeah, right.
But at the International Festival of Making Theater of Dakamos, who put it together, invited us to come. And I said, yes, I have to do it even in the middle of this. And now I've been invited to Iceland to do my show. And I'll be going to the Acting Alone Festival there. So it is important, even in the midst of this, to continue to share, just like we're trying to do on Broadway and around the world, the great art of live theater. We have to.
Well, let me ask you, because there's a totally self-interested, selfish question. How do you get these? But because I would love to bring my show, The Great Shalom, to all these different places. I would love to go to Iceland. Maybe not so much some of these Arab countries, but certainly Iceland, certainly Poland. How do you get bookings to be invited even to come to a festival in the middle of Reykjavik or wherever?
Yeah.
Do you have an agent? Are you just filling out forms? Are you getting emails out of the blue? Or if Iceland,
I just leave myself open and it comes. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah.
No, it's a lot of hard work. And over the years, I've spent countless hours, of course, surfing and finding festivals that would be conducive to what I do, solo festivals, putting your ear to the grindstone, You also have to spend, I'm a sponsored project of NYFA, the New York Foundation of the Arts, which allows me to be able to accept contributions from foundations, individuals, which is a very important part of having a show and maintaining it, unless you're independently wealthy and you can travel whenever you want. But still, you have to have a venue. So I've traveled to 20 states, to many theaters, to over 40 universities and colleges with my show and doing the workshop, because I find that there's an enormous need out there because of the ideas that Harold Clurman expresses. One of the great things that happens during the play is that Clurman tells us, and he says it in an incredible dynamic way, you have to live life to the fullest. It's up to you how you shape your daily life. He's giving us the story not only of his life, but of the American theater. And then during the show, you get to meet people like Lee Strasberg and Stella Adler and Stanislavski, and even Jackie Kennedy Onassis and Katharine Hepburn. So they have this incredible journey, and this brings to life what the American theater is and can be and has been.
Now, wait a minute. In the show, do you do an imitation or a present of Katharine Hepburn? Do with the neck waddle and the like this or what?
Well, Clurman is so expressive that he enjoys doing the voices, but because I have that happen to have that talent, I have embodied them to such a degree that when he talks about them and in a sense does them, you get to meet actually Katharine Hepburn in the way she talks, of course, and you get to meet Jackie Kennedy Onassis. And so it does happen during the show, but because it takes me 2.5 hours to embody Clurman, I just can't start acting like Clurman you see right now. It's a different thing. I can imitate, and I do an enormous amount of imitations, but that's not the same thing as embodying and bringing to life. And that's what solo transformation on stage.
But you know what my next question is going to be. Give me one or two of your very best. We've seen that. Come on, you were a comedian. You know what to do. Give us like one.
Well, as an actor, it's been one of my blessings because I grew up watching, and I got to see David Fry and Frank Gorshin and Rich Little do their shows. So they were my idols, of course. So I thought that in a sense, when I ended up, doing several seasons in Saturday Night Live, I was one of those actors in the back who would run off and do skits with all of those different people. And I did that for about 10 years, working with Dana Carvey and Will Ferrell and Billy Crystal and all of those people. So it sort of led to that. But well, you see, one of the people that I love to do, of course, is my dear friend.
Fitzgerald. No, wait, no.
Exactly. You hit it on the nose, Rabbi. You're an amazing rabbi. I've got to tell you that. So of course I've been Jimmy doing Jimmy for many years, and of course doing Nixon has been one of my. It's very important that we never forget how important my administration was in opening China. Never forget that.
China, the wrestler, or China, the actual.
So doing these kind of people sort of led to deciding, in a sense, how I would bring those people alive through Clurman in my show. So when you do meet Strasberg or you do meet Alfred Stieglitz, you're meeting them, in a sense, through Clurman. Right. So that's what happens.
So let me also ask Ronald Rand. Well, before we have you stay for the quiz that David led, we with Vicki Quade, an actress from Chicago, as well as David Sheward, who was the former president of the drama.
I know David very well.
And Leslie Hoban Blake, who was a director. Sure. I want to ever perform with or for.
I'm a member of the drama desk, and I was a voting member for many years, going to hundreds of shows. So I know Leslie and David very, very well over the years. And
so it'll be old home week when exactly. Just a few minutes. So, but you started also that newspaper, the Solar, and is it still a hard copy, or have you just enough? People want to read it online. What?
I do a hard copy and I mail it out to subscribers all across the world and across America. And at www.soulamericanactor is, of course, the online version. And so I've been doing it for 23 years. It's the only newspaper in America that's dedicated to the art and craft of the actor and the soul, and of course, to all the arts. So in it, you find not only actors and directors and playwrights, but choreographers, singers, dancers, musicians, painters, artists, every aspect. So it's important that we understand that we're a community. And because I just wanted to share this photo with you, this is, of course, Harold.
Right.
And this is who, and you can see the difference between what he looks like and what I look like. Bringing a 79-year-old Harold Clurman to life is quite an undertaking, but it's
Well, when
it's
you were
connected.
you started doing this 25 years ago, it was more of an undertaking then. Right now, a little
Yes.
less makeup, you start that's which is nice. How do you have such good hair? I don't understand this.
I don't know.
Look, nothing. Damn it.
I guess it's good genes. What can I say?
I have to wear the black pants.
Doing the Soul of the American Actor newspaper became a labor of love. And I've done over 1,500 interviews over the years. And it's been extraordinary. Yeah.
Hold on.
Yes.
Favorite,
yes.
one or two of your absolute favorite, most mind-blowing interviews that you ever did.
Well, I mean, going off the track a little bit, I did do my first book, Acting Teachers of America, and I interviewed Sidney Poitier, which was pretty extraordinary. And in the book is also Gene Hackman and William Hurt and people like that. But in the newspaper, I've also interviewed Elie Wiesel, which was pretty incredible. But Sir Derek Walcott, Jeffrey Holder, I mean, these people have changed my life, because everything that I hear from them have also transformed me. When I was in high school, one of the first interviews I did was with Eartha Kitt. And after I saw her show, she invited me to her hotel room to talk about choosing a life in the theater, because I met her and I told her I'm an actor and I want to do that. And so she said to me, "You follow your dreams, you can do and be anything you want." And so it was one of the greatest interviews I had, and it was before even The Soul of the American Actor.
No, but I'm so happy. That's great. Eartha Kitt. I mean, I wonder, when she invited you to your hotel room, did you think, maybe she thought you were gay? I don't know.
No, here I was, a young acting student, and I thought I was just overwhelmed by her taking the time to say, let me talk about what it means to be a performance artist, and let me tell you what happened in my career to me. And so she told me all about the adversity she went through for an hour, and said, "If you're going to go to New York, you have to have a great acting teacher." And I said, "I'm going to be going to study with Stella." And she said, "That's it, you're on the way." And it was being with Stella Adler and being with Harold Clurman, and then I studied with Grotowski and being.
Oh my God! Wait, all right. Now I've read about Grotowski. Don't ask me. Well, Polish people. So I mean, this was not typical American method. Think about this and remember something from your childhood. This is make believe you're a grape hanging from something and clawing and what the hell? What was working with Grotowski like?
Well, Grotowski was not hanging from the ceiling as a grape, but it was close. But one of the things when I was studying with him at Columbia University, one of the times when we were physically doing the work, he had me imagine what it was like being on the planet Earth and feeling the molting, burning heat in the center of the Earth. And I had to allow myself to reach down through all of the molten lava and everything and allow that heat to come up. And I actually could feel the heat in my body. So in a sense...
Ronald, I get that from my prostate every day.
But Grotowski was connecting us to the world around us, to really seeing, not only looking at the river or at a tree, but actually letting yourself merge with nature and allow it to merge with you. And what happens is it really is opening yourself up to the other realms that surround us and hearing not only the bird in the tree, but what is the bird doing to you and how is the
Probably
bird
tapping on my
affecting
head, if you know me.
well, that could happen too. But that was one of the great things. I mean, Grotowski could also be very funny too. One time, Andre Gregory, who I had interviewed, and we spent actually almost my dinner with Andre, it turned into a 4-hour interview together. He said to me, I was walking with Grotowski once, and of course, Grotowski always wore a black tie and black coat and white shirt. Someone said to Andre, is he a rabbi? Is he a priest? And Grotowski, when he found out what they said to Andre, I hope you said yes. So he had a great sense of humor too.
Oh, this is and it's so weird that you mentioned, because just this week they announced they're doing a 40th or a 50th anniversary screening of My Dinner with Andre, with Andre Gregory going to be there signing a book or something. We're hoping to get him on this program. I would cross my fingers, but I'm Jewish. We don't do that. Yeah. But I have one last question, because then I've got to bring Dave in, and he's going to bring in Vicki Quade and go. Oh. But I can't. Okay. So of all the things of the theater that you have seen, that is not you, but when you went to the theater, what was the most extraordinary performance that you ever witnessed?
Well, there is not, I can say one, but I can point to some, and I talk about that in my book, Solo Transformation on Stage. I have a chapter called Performers in Depth, when you go into seeing some of the great performers. And I didn't, of course, see Paul Robeson or Ira Aldridge or people like that, but I did see James Earl Jones, of course, doing Paul Robeson, and I did get to see Christopher Plummer doing Iago. And when you witness that kind of transformative work, your life is changed forever. Ariane Manushkin, when she came over to doing with her incredible group of actors, there's something that happens to you that you become a different human being. And that's the magic of theater. I've been very grateful to witness recently, great performers like Felicia Rashad doing August Wilson. I mean, you really walk out of the theater a changed human being. And that's what I'm so grateful for. And of course, being able to transform myself into Harold Clurman, it's part of that all the time.
Well, I hope you never change, because you're absolutely delightful and so much fun to talk to, and so informative and so good at what you do. So, ladies and gentlemen, everybody, you're going to want to first get a copy of the book, Solo Transformation on Stage. It's by Ronald Rand. Who's the publisher on this?
Sunbury Press. It just came out. It's right at their website, Sunbury Press.
And what is your website? So if people want to get subscribed to Soul of the American Actor, how can they
SoulAmericanActor.com, LetItBeArt.com, and now I'm working on a new website which will come out in a month, RonaldRand.com. But I also came out with a second book, which was Create, and that's at createthebook.com, which has 130 interviews with some of the most extraordinary human beings and artists on the planet. So it continues. It always continues.
It should always continue for you, Ronald Rand, and you are going to continue on this program. I am going to Alaska away, but I wish you a wonderful Shabbos, since it turns out you were raised Jewish. Yay! Another one we're proud of, thank God. And ladies and gentlemen, but what a joy to meet you. Please stick around. I'm going to play some Jewy sort of music while Dave, the producer, the host of this program, comes to do the quiz. Thank you again so much, Ronald Rand.
Thank you so much.
There's the Rabbi's music there, some klezmer, as we bring on 4 of the 5, fingers crossed, guests who will be playing our Today, Yesterday quiz. By the way, I'm Dave Lefkowitz. I'm the host of this program. It's called Dave's Gone By. We're doing our 829th episode of the show. We're calling it Rand total in honor of our delightful guest. I love listening to that interview with Rabbi Saul, Ronald Rand. Ronald, won't you please welcome some of our regular contestants on the program. We have with us Vicki Quade, the co-creator of Late Night Catechism out in Chicago. I assume you've seen that at some point.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, here she is, Vicki Quade.
Well, hello, Vicki. So nice to meet you in person, even if it's through Zoom. You look great.
Vicki, unmute. You need to push your mic on. And also we have David Sheward. Hello, Vicki. And David Sheward is the former head of the drama desk. He's also the former managing editor of Backstage. But more importantly, he is a theater critic and writer, so you can read his blog, The David Desk, as well as his theater reviews in theaterlife.com and culturaldaily.com. Welcome, all of you. How are you guys all to this? Yeah,
good morning. Good morning.
Great.
Good morning. Excuse me just 1 second.
Oh, well, there he goes. So, Vicki, how was your
He's done.
You're riding a rabbit? What the hell are you doing?
I know. That's my camera. Anyway, what was your question?
Well, no, how was your week? How are you doing? How was theater?
Oh, it's just crazy. I mean, it's just getting ready for everything. I invited a bunch of my family to come for Christmas Eve, and we have shows at the theater that we're still doing, and and it's busy.
When is Christmas Bingo? Did that start, Christmas Bingo, or is that starting next week or what?
Christmas Bingo started. It always starts the weekend after Thanksgiving, and it runs to the end of the year. So it goes about 6 weeks.
And it's in repertory with Late Night Catechism.
Late Night Catechism, right?
Cool. And are you still getting audiences, or is Omicron kind of?
We're still getting audiences. Pre-pandemic, we would have sold out. I mean, truthfully, we generally sold out of the shows because it's the holidays and that's the big time, and people love to go out. And And now I think we're getting, I would say, half a house, half to a little bit more, like maybe 60%.
But still worth doing. But still worth getting.
Worth doing. Not what it was, but it's
You're lucky you're open. I mean, you heard about the Rockettes in New York. That's canceled for a week. And all these Broadway shows taking some of them the weekend off this week just because one person, coughs and they got to do it. So,
well, it's not just one person coughing
with Omicron or with Delta.
They're getting a positive test.
Yeah. I mean, it doesn't mean that they're lying sick in the hospital. It just means they tested, and then.
Well, that's what you got to do.
You have an even number of people.
Well, it isn't even. I'm the host, so you have 2 on 2. Wait, here comes Leslie.
I said last night.
And, she was here for a second.
Leslie left.
Well, no, she's wait.
I still see her. I see her little box.
That's more than you to know.
I didn't say anything. There's a little cube then.
Yeah, I see her name. Well,
She'll materialize in a moment and be embodied.
Yes.
God willing. The spirit is coming to her. I was listening to the interview with Rabbi Saul. She's communing, she's dreaming of us, and eventually the spirit of Dave's Gone By and the Today Yesterday quiz will come to Leslie Hoban Blake as she joins us. While we're here, let me give you all the rules. And it's going to be a little bit different than your hello, Leslie Hoban Blake. And remember to unmute. Yes, she did. Hello.
I couldn't because you had that. Never mind. It doesn't matter. Hello.
Hello.
Hi. Hello, Ron.
Hi there. Hi there, Leslie. Great to see you. Merry holidays and Happy New Year.
Merry holidays to you too. Look at the present I have for David Sheward.
Oh,
look at that.
Oh,
you have a halo around you. It's exciting.
Now that was from, when was that taken?
It may have been, it's either Drama Desk or Atka. Might have been Atka.
One of those luncheons we had.
Very, very, very long ago. It doesn't have a date on it. Sorry.
No. I love that. I love seeing that kind of thing. So here's the deal. Our rules, I'm sort of half making up the rules as we go along today. We're going to see how it goes, just because we're doing it a little differently. We're going to do teams. We've never done this before because we were expecting to have only 3, but we got 4, which is magical. Not really. It's just a number. What good?
Desk awards.
David. Oh, what? Oh, tell us, David Sheward. The David Desk Awards? You're doing awards for the year?
No, I saw an old one. I never saw that before.
Oh, well, at the end of the season, I don't do them at the end of the year. I do them at the end of the season. I do the David Desk Awards. where it's like, the Tonys and the drama
Are they
desk.
televised?
No.
You just give out is it like real or the raspberries, or like you make up?
No.
categories there?
I just list what I consider to be the top, amazing or work during a particular season. And the David, and I made a joke one time that we had the drama desk. We should have the David desk because there's so many critics named David.
Are there?
Well, there's me, there's you, there's David Barber, David Kaufman, David Cody.
Yeah. Right.
David Finkel.
David
Right.
Finkel, right?
And you know what the name David means, don't you?
Beloved.
Right, it means the beloved. It's so lovely. My son's name is David.
I'm in Mosley, yay! Okay, we're already off topic, but this is
Which is how
So I'll
the
do
game
that.
goes, Ron. This is how the game goes. It goes
I will
Yeah,
do them at the end of the season, whenever that is. If there
David,
is,
can you
if
do
it
it on
ends,
Zoom and get people to accept the awards?
that would be kind of difficult, but
Oh, okay.
just for fun on the blog.
It's a great idea.
it's an adorable idea.
It's a
So
great idea.
here's my idea, though. Or no, actually, this was Leslie Hoban Blake's idea, was to do 2 teams, girls against boys. So it's going to be Leslie and Vicki against David Sheward and Ronald Rand. So when we ask a question, it's a trivia
But
quiz.
you can't assume how people identify.
It's okay.
Okay.
Some chromosomes
I'm not
versus other
offended.
chromosomes.
I'm not offended.
I'm so sorry. I'm so old school. What can I tell you?
I'm not offended.
My David lives in, I don't know, on the metal moon.
I don't even know. So here's the deal. I'm going to roll. Leslie and Vicki, can you agree upon
Yes,
a
we can
number?
agree.
Oh, no.
Sure. Leslie, you pick the number.
Are you sure, dear?
Yep.
Because you always like low numbers and I like the high numbers.
No.
So
We agree.
Okay.
You pick.
Like,
we, the female, I can't even do that.
You can. Okay.
It's fine. Go ahead. The distaff.
we, the putatively female group,
Yes.
choose the number 6.
Okay. Team. Should I call you Team Ville or well, no, that's vile. Lebe. Team Levi.
Vickley.
Team
How about Vickley?
Vickley. Team Vickley. And what number was it? Was it 2? Did you pick?
Six.
Six. What the hell? I didn't hear. All right. So and team. Let's see. Darrow or Roda. Rodav.
Rhoda is fine.
Randed.
Rhoda is fine.
Okay. Team
Randed.
Rhoda.
Davro.
Would you like to guys agree upon a number, please?
Ron, I think 3 is a good number. What do you think?
I can't disagree. I love 3.
Okay,
I'm
we'll
in
go
love
with
with
3.
3.
We'll go with 3.
Now, Ronald, just be careful what you say because everything is a double entendre in this group.
Oh, okay. I'll keep it in mind.
So here's the deal. All I'm going to do now is roll a die to see which team begins. Well, yes, Leslie.
I have a question, and
Yeah.
it's bothered me since we decided we were doing teams.
Yeah.
We tend to think out
This is our
loud.
idea.
No, that was only so I could be on. Otherwise, I wouldn't have been on.
Yeah, right.
Ron, we normally think out loud. We tend to be the sort of, well, it can't be that, it must be so and so.
We can
But
still
if
do
we're
that.
working in teams, how do we do that? Do we
You
just
argue.
do our things
You argue with
together
each
out
other.
loud?
We just discuss it with each other.
Okay,
Yeah, we
because
can-
the
it'll
shoes
be
could
fine.
whisper in each other's ear, but we can't do that.
No,
We
you
just
cannot do that.
discuss it with each other.
Okay.
That's
So you
fine.
still
I
have
got
to
it. That's fine.
decide.
We could do it in the
Got
chat.
Right.
Got it. We
Okay.
got it.
No, but you also still have to decide what you're comfortable sharing that you might give away to the other team.
Right.
It's fine. It's fine.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
we're
Got it.
Just a game.
prizes. This doesn't mean anything.
It's just a
Maybe
game,
it has to leave
David.
at noon.
That's
That's
right.
why I came almost on time.
All right, here we go. I'm going to roll a die.
Here's a prize, honey. Hold on. Here's a prize.
Oh, all right.
And we don't have to roll the die.
This.
Ron, do you understand anything about this?
It doesn't matter, Ronald.
Well,
I-
Ron, you said you've seen the
I've been
program.
watching it for years, so yes, I do.
Yeah, the roll is just to see who goes first.
It just shows that as busy as Ronald Rand is, his Saturday mornings are absolutely dead because he's been watching this. But no, but it's, I rolled a number 4, okay, which is closest to team. What was it? Roga, Team Roga. So, Team Roga, would you discuss amongst yourselves? Would you rather go first or second?
It really doesn't. What sometimes it's best to go second because then if they miss a question, but you know what? I think it's okay to go first. What do you think, Ron?
Okay, I'll
Okay.
follow with that. We'll give it a
Okay.
whirl.
All right.
And Leslie, I would like to make a suggestion. When you roll the die, if it's 1, 2, or 3, it goes to the guys. And if it's
Right,
4,
and
5, and 6, it goes
It
to
goes
us.
to us. That's a
Oh,
perfect.
by the way, there's no need to roll the dice from now
Right,
on
exactly.
because if a question is missed, it just goes to the other team.
Yeah,
Right.
there's not even going to be any more die rolling anyway. But I need to know
That's
who's
right.
going. Yeah. So
He's right.
We're setting this up for the future.
Okay.
Okay.
there you go.
And I think Roward is a better name for your team.
Row what?
It's easier to say Roward.
Is easier
yeah,
than
that's
Rhoda?
right.
Ron
Than
and
Rhoda.
Ward, Roward.
That's much easier than Rhoda.
I have this.
Oh yeah. Okay. Oh,
Sorry,
fine.
Cass.
And
That
what
was
your
sarcasm.
Vic? What was it? Was Vickley? What Vickley?
Vickley.
Vickley and Rhoda. Keep it at Rhoda. It's fine.
Sounds
Let's
Greek
keep
to
going.
me. Yeah.
Come on.
Rhoda is
15
cool.
minutes into
I
the
love
game.
Rhoda. Ron Rand, I have a little, I should have brought it to show you. I have a little piece of colored stone like this, like the western sky that you made me years ago. You still
Yes.
doing that?
I'm still painting on stones and barks, and everywhere I travel,
I've got a little tiny stone that he gave me once at a
Yes.
thing.
yeah.
That it just looks like the western sky and the sand and it's really lovely. It's
At the end of the game,
fascinating.
if we can find it, we'd love to see it. If you have it
I
anywhere.
know exactly where it is. I just didn't think to bring it. If you want to, at the end, I'll
Yeah,
bring
at
it.
the end, if we have time.
Thank
we'll,
you.
Okay.
Yeah, I would love to see.
I keep posting my new photos on Facebook, and I love doing colors. Yes, absolutely. Thank you so
Yay.
much.
Okay. So here's the game. It's called Today, Yesterday Trivia Quiz. Each question is worth 2 points. Most of the questions have to do with things that happened in the world. Things that happened, well, in history on this date. It's December 18th, 2021. However, there have been many, many December 18th before. These are things that happened on those dates. And of course, most of the time the questions have absolutely nothing to do with their springboards anyway. So are you guys ready? Or are you folks who identify as men ready? Because you're going first.
Yes.
Yes. Yes. Here we go. Yes.
Yes. I'm ready.
I like that, Ron. That's good.
We're
The
ready.
deep
We're
throat.
ready.
That, yes, the deep
Thank
voice.
you.
Not deep throat.
First question is the year 1867. Okay. You've heard of the Amityville Horror, but do you know about the Angola Horror? On this date, the last coach of the Buffalo-bound New York Express train derailed and plunged off a bridge just past the village of Angola in far western New York State. To commemorate the tragedy,
Oh God.
which of these is true about the African Republic of Angola?
Okay.
A, one
True.
of these is true.
Okay.
A, the country's median age, the halfway point between younger and older, is 19. B, the currency of Angola is called the Kwanza. C, the colors of the Angolan flag are green, white, and black. Or D, the giant sable antelope, the national symbol of Angola, was completely wiped out by the Angolan Civil War and is now extinct. Which of these is true?
Okay.
Oh, which of them is true?
Which is true. So it's the median age is 19.
Mhm.
The currency is called the Kwanza. The flag is green, white, and black. The national sable was wiped out. What do you think, Ron? They all sound like they could be true.
They all sound true. Yeah, it's true. But I tend to think the third one with the 3 colors might be true.
Okay, I think that the currency one, I think that's false.
Mhm. I think that's a different country.
But or David may just have said, I'm going to stick the word Kwanzaa in here to see if they, and it could be the median age could be 19, but okay. So I'll go. Okay, so so C, you agree? So
Do you think so?
yeah, I think so. Let's go with C.
Okay.
So C is true. The colors of the Angolan flag are green, white, and black. Is that your final answer?
Yes.
Yes.
3 cheers for the red, white, and green. I'm afraid that is the incorrect answer. So we have a steal opportunity from Vicki Quade and Leslie Hoban Blake.
Son of a-
Although I'm thinking, Vicki, that the average age of 19 might be true because of the war having killed off all the adults.
Exactly. That's what I was thinking. Because
Yeah,
Africa
Kwanzaa
is a very
is a
young
little
country.
too on.
or
Kwanzaa's
young
a little
nation.
too on the money for me because I don't think they would have put a holiday whose name is money, although God only knows. And then the last question about the antelope. I think it's between the antelope and the age. What do you think?
I think it's the age because Angola has lost so many people. So I think that's probably true.
Okay, I'll go with that. I'm equal between the two.
So you're saying the true one is that the median
Median age.
is 19.
Yes.
Yeah.
Final answer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why can't I be a teenager who's dead? No, that is not. No, we got no points on this one. Here's the all the real facts about all of these. The first of all, the currency of Angola is the Kwanzaa. It's spelled a little different. It's not.
Wow.
Yeah, it's KWANZA.
What does Kwanzaa mean?
I don't even know.
I thought it meant peace or it meant like unity.
And it's spelled, the holiday spelled differently. It's with maybe.
Yeah.
Okay.
But the other things are, here we go. This is the horrible thing. The median age of Angola is just under 16.
I had a feeling it was something like
Wow.
that.
Monaco has the oldest median age at 53. Niger is the youngest at 15.4.
Well, the median
Oh.
age means that half the population is above and half is below.
What do you think the U.S. one is, the median age?
It's probably late 30s or 40s.
It's
I'm a
38.
demographer.
Yeah, sure. 38.
38, wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
And finally, the flag is similar to the Russian one, but in red, black, and yellow. It's got like a yellow sickle and whatever in the middle. Those are the colors of it.
Were they a socialist or communist country?
I think they're moving in
I
that.
think they were communist at one point.
Yeah.
Or were they a colony? Like,
I don't remember. Probably colonial.
So
whatever.
the answer is the animal.
Well, no. The animal is also untrue. What happened was they
The
thought.
currency is the animal.
Oh,
The
currency.
The currency is the
Currency.
animal.
Yeah.
The currency is the
I
answer.
got it. I
The
understood.
stable
It's the
antelope
currency.
was nearly wiped out, but then they found some herds, and so it's not completely extinct. It's
like
still,
the manatee.
yeah. So there you go. We
Amazing.
don't have any points yet. Everybody is still
That's
tied
it.
up. We have the next question, and this goes to what was that, Leslie?
Oh, I
Leslie,
can't hear you.
Leslie, you got muted. Leslie, you got
You're
muted.
Do this, David. Do this.
Oh.
Mute.
Was that right?
I don't know what happened. I
There
have
she
no
is.
idea.
Okay.
All right.
Okay, we have our next
Okay.
question.
I see how the team works. That's what I was saying.
And so far, it's working fine. We're one question in. We're doing all right. We're surviving. Here we go.
You did
Oh.
it right.
Oh, Leslie and Vicki, you've done this before. This is a different kind of a question. This is 3 clues in the news.
Oh, boy.
We've been doing these recently. So this is not like this in history. This is the one where I give you 3 words that are related to the word that we are looking for. They're not related to each other. So it could be word blank or blank word, like, if we're looking for potato, couch, potato, vegetables, potato, sweet, potato. Here are the words. Are you guys ready? And
Yes.
you're muted again. I don't know why, but Leslie, you're muted again.
Well, you can still read the question.
Yeah, this I can. Here we
Invite
go.
her to unmute.
Yeah, wait, I was asking if Ron got it because it was not explained very well. Excuse me, Dave.
Ron's been-
I'll go along with whatever happens.
yeah, well,
Okay.
this is your question first. I'll re-explain for Ron if it becomes
Ron
a
might
thing.
Okay.
Because he's used
Okay.
to solo shows.
He just looked confused. Go ahead.
Here we go. You'll get it, Ron. By the way, are you Ron or Ronald? How do you-
Ronald is fine.
Oh, sorry. Okay. 3 clues in the news going to Vicki
Rant to you, David.
and Leslie. The words are brown, wild, Tim.
Tim.
David.
Tim, like
I
T-I-M.
know the answer. I
Oh,
know
what
the
is it?
answer.
What is it?
The answer is rice.
Is that your? Oh, I'm sorry. Well, you get to confer though.
I
Vicki,
agree.
It-
She's
okay.
right. It's
final
excellent,
answer.
Leslie.
Yes.
Yep.
And do you understand how this works, Ron? Of how they
Getting
Brown
it
rice.
slowly.
Yeah.
A word that's connected to the
Right.
3 words that he gives us, whether before or
Yes.
after. They do
Right.
this on Jeopardy now. They don't call it whatever
Yes.
you call it.
Really? Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Okay. So
They call
brown
it
rice. Yeah.
Is that correct?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. It is brown
It has to be
rice,
correct.
wild rice, Tim rice, of course. And
And
Rice,
what's the thing in the news?
oh, the author Anne Rice.
I don't know.
Oh,
Oh,
okay.
that's
The-
right.
the
I totally
vampire.
forgot, but yes.
Okay.
I thought Vicky said it. Vicky said Anne Rice, no?
Oh, it was Leslie. Leslie.
It was Leslie.
Yay!
But I thought.
So hooray for Team Vicky. They're on.
Sometimes it just comes to you, and sometimes it doesn't come at all. So
Perfect. Yeah.
Well, Team Vickley. Well,
we are tied.
No, they're not tied.
No, you're ahead.
No,
You're ahead.
we're ahead.
Oh, we're ahead. Oh,
Yes.
Yeah.
okay. I'll take that. It's good. All right.
That's what you said last night.
Oh.
Oh,
On to round two.
I still have one arm tied to the bedpost. You know, it's like that. I'm sorry. What?
I don't. Okay. Anywho, we go back to the guys, if you will, the guys.
Oh, the guys.
yes.
Okay, I
We're
like
ready.
that, the guys.
We're ready.
The
We're ready.
year.
Yes.
Oh, you guys are gonna love this one. The year was 1892. Debuting tonight at the Mariinsky Theater in St. Petersburg, where I'm sure you've been. Certainly, Ronald, you've been.
Of course. Oh,
The holiday ballet, The Nutcracker, on a double bill with the Tchaikovsky opera Iolanta, which is false about nuts. A, in Iran, pistachios are nicknamed the smiling nut.
oh.
B, hazelnuts and filberts are the same nut. C, if you're allergic to Brazil nuts and your partner eats Brazil nuts, don't have sex, you could get an allergic reaction. Or D, arachibutyrophobia is the fear of embarrassment and not being able to crack open a walnut.
What was okay? So my phone was ringing. I turned it
Okay.
off. Can you read the first two again?
Sure, of course.
Wait. Is it what's true or what's
What's
false?
false?
Which is false? Which one? Which of the? All of these are true except one.
Not true.
Is it right? Is it A, in Iran, pistachios are nicknamed the smiling nut? B, hazelnuts and filberts are the same nut? C, if you're allergic to Brazil nuts and your partner has Brazil nuts, don't have sex, you could get an allergic reaction. Or D, arachibutyrophobia is the fear of being embarrassed and not being able to crack open a walnut.
Oh, sorry. Just a minute.
Yeah, sure.
Turn
Okay.
this volume down.
somebody's trying to tell us the answer.
Yeah.
You have to
If
count
only a
the
friend.
number of rings, and then
Let me see. So in Iran, there's a nut called the smiling nut.
pistachio.
Pistachios are called the smiling
Pistachios
nut.
are called the smiling nut.
That makes sense.
Hazelnuts and filberts are the same thing. If you eat a Brazil nut and you're allergic to them and you have sex with someone who is also allergic to them, they can,
If you eat a Brazil nut and you have sex with them,
then what happens? They get the allergic reaction. And
That's,
fear of
yeah,
embarrassment.
that's what happened.
There is a phobia about that embarrassment over cracking open a walnut.
or being
Really?
allergic to- yeah.
I think Ron, I think it's the last one. I think it's D. What do you think?
It sounds very strange. I agree.
I mean, it sounds like it's made up, although it's so crazy it could be true. I
And
think
it just goes on and on and on. So I would go with it
I
too.
think hazels and filberts are the same. I think they are the same thing.
Yeah, same family.
And the Brazil sex nut thing is crazy enough to be true.
I've tried the Brazil sex nut thing. It's pretty hot.
Yeah, you remember that episode of LA Law, the Venus Butternut?
Yes.
Well, I go
Dave,
with
but it must be very hard to have sex with a Brazil nut.
yeah. I'm going to go with D. What do you think, Ron? I'll say D.
I think so too. We could try that.
Okay.
Final answer?
Yes.
D?
Final answer. Yes.
Well, you guys cracked this one. Well done. That is, first of all, you got the correct answer, but here's the deal. This is of Team Rhoda. There is such a thing as arachibutyrophobia. What it is,
Spiders?
the fear of peanut butter sticking to the roof of your mouth.
Oh.
That is a thing. That's an actual phobia. Well, yeah. I mean, whoever, but there's people who's really afraid of that. That's what that is. So it has nothing to do with cracking walnuts, though. So well done, David Sheward and Ronald Rand, who have just tied the game. Oh my goodness!
Yay.
Yay.
We're back again.
No.
Yay.
When you go to some stores, they have peanut butter, and then underneath it they have a raclette, whatever. So that's it. That's peanut. Is the French. That's how you know that that's not a walnut. I was just trying to. Never mind. I've
I
seen
find
that
that
the
interesting,
first.
Leslie.
I've seen the first part of the name of that disease.
Oh,
that
so
you're talking
rat bee.
about.
Well, wouldn't a rat be spiders?
That's what I would
No,
Yeah.
yeah, but that's different. That's arachnophobia, and it's
Right.
spelled differently.
Oh, maybe. Anywho,
Wow.
well, I guess you're
Anywho.
between a rock and a hard place. But let's go on to our next question, ladies and gentlemen, in our Today Yesterday quiz. But here's the deal now. Now, Team Vickley can break the knot here because they get the next question. This is our fourth question in the quiz. It is another multiple choice. So are you all ready?
Ready.
Here we go. The year again, same day, 1892. Premiering today in Vienna is the eighth and final symphony by Austrian composer Anton Bruckner. By all accounts, he was an odd chap.
Yep.
So odd that all of these are true about him except one. Which of these is false about Bruckner? A. Bruckner never married, but he made marriage proposals all his life to teenage girls.
Oh.
B. In his teaching room, Bruckner kept a photo of his mother, taken after she was already dead.
Oh.
C. Bruckner lost his eyeglass when he leaned over and it fell into Beethoven's coffin.
Oh.
Or D. Sound effects by Joyce. D. Bruckner nicknamed his first symphony A Loud Groan from Hell.
Oh, nice.
All of these are true, except
Except for one.
one.
The one about the eyeglass sounds like an episode in a sitcom.
Yeah.
Curb Your Enthusiasm.
Yeah,
Monsters.
that wacky Bruckner.
You know what though? It might be that the eyeglasses fell in, but it was not. It was a different person.
Yeah.
A different. What are you thinking, Leslie?
Well, I think in the time that we're talking about, you proposing to teenagers was quite appropriate.
Yeah.
So I mean, they got married. I mean, it wasn't that much different from Romeo and Juliet's time. Maybe they were like 16 instead of
Right.
14. But I don't think that was outrageous for him to have done that. Since he never married, they obviously all turned him down. If D is true, then B would be true. If the cry from what was the last one? What was that one?
Bruckner nicknamed his first symphony A Loud Groan from Hell.
Yeah, if that was his sense of humor, A Loud Groan from Hell, I would think that the picture of a dead mother would probably be appropriate as well. I agree with you that somebody's eyeglass. You mean a monocle, right? Or you mean total eyeglasses?
I don't recall. Honestly, I don't recall.
Okay,
You weren't there, in other words.
right.
I
let's
was
go
like
with
another
that one.
funeral at the same exact time. Yeah.
I don't know whether Bruckner and Beethoven were alive at the same time, nor when Beethoven died. I don't know the dates, but I don't think 18. What was it?
Well,
98.
the year was just the premiere of his eighth symphony. It was 1892.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, but I don't think Beethoven was alive that late. I think he died much earlier in the 1800s, in the 30s, I believe. So I don't think that Bruckner might have been at his. That's what I'm saying. I don't know that it was feasible for him to
Well,
have been.
let's go with that one.
Vicky, jump in anytime. You know.
No, I think that's the one. I think it's the
I
eyeglass.
think it's the eyeglasses. That's
I
what
do.
you said the first time.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll go with that. Eyeglasses.
Is that your final answer?
Yes.
Yeah, sure.
Take some tea. Take some tea.
No, sorry, I'm coughing.
This is.
I knew that. I knew that was going to be a.
You're
But
such a good actor.
no. I needed to make the joke, but that is not the correct answer.
Oh, we're wrong.
You
Oh,
are-
okay.
You're such a good actor. You scared your wife.
I do that every day. So, but here's the thing, Leslie. You are right that they were not contemporaries, but they dug up Beethoven
Oh,
and Bruckner.
Just so he could drop his eyeglasses in there. All right.
Not only that, but and I'm not giving away the rest of the questions.
Don't say it until they have
Okay.
the second.
I'll tell you the whole story
Okay.
about this
You
after
have to give the second.
All right.
you wrote
Oh, it's which of these is false or which of these is true?
which of these
Oh.
is false.
False. Okay, so
False.
he never married. So he never married.
But he kept making
Proposed-
them.
He proposed to a bunch of teenage girls,
Mhm.
That sounds.
He kept a photo of his dead mother in his study, or his one of his things was called "A Loud Groan from Hell,"
Yes.
Yeah.
Which is why I nicknamed this show, actually. But
which I think is actually I think that's the next Broadway musical.
It's gonna be scary.
With two
Yeah.
exclamation points, not
Yeah,
one.
I think that that's Andrew Lloyd Webber's next piece.
oh,
No, I bet you.
A loud groan from hell. I'm going to
Yeah,
kick your
it
ass
works.
with some pitchforks. Okay, let's see. Your cue is dance, fools. Okay, never married, mother dead. What do you think, Ron? Which of those do you think is?
Well, the last one has me on the fence, honestly. Which one are you thinking about?
Well, I agree with Leslie that it's probably true that he never met. It's probably true about him proposing to a
Yeah.
bunch of teenage girls.
Yeah.
And it's possible that he kept a photo of his dead mother. So I think now it doesn't matter that the last answer was also D. So I think it's a loud groan from hell.
I think so too.
Okay. All right. So we'll say D.
final answer.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
You're right. That was my loud groan from hell. That was absolutely the yeah. Well done. Team Rhoda moves in front with 4 points. But
Okay, Vicki, we gotta snap our
No,
bras on
we
this
gotta
one. and
Tell
get
us,
going.
tell us the history behind these answers.
here's the Bruckner trivia. He was a morbid weirdo. There's no question. But his first symphony was nicknamed the first official because he had two like early symphonies that weren't considered the canon. But the first official symphony was nicknamed Das Kecke Becerl, or the Cheeky Brat, or more like his speed. Some people have translated the Saucy Maid, depending on the translation. So nothing like even though he was a morbid, etc.
Was he atonal? Was he part of that atonal group?
Starting there, yeah, he was a bridge between sort of
Yeah, that's what I don't know that much about music, but I thought I knew that. Okay.
well, he brooked no adversaries.
Oh, I love it.
Oh dear.
I'm sorry about that. By the way, he did, as you said, it wasn't that pervy, Leslie. I mean, he would go after like 17-year-old girls, not like,
Oh, that makes all the difference.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
it does.
And
Well,
those
that's
in
the
that
name.
year,
No,
Yeah.
back then.
Yes, you're right. You're right.
And by
He
the way,
knows.
when he was 71 years old,
Oh no.
he proposed to a 17-year-old chambermaid, and she turned him down. Why? Because she didn't want to convert to Catholicism. So she was up for it, but his religious beliefs got in the way.
Jesus,
he
Hugh
was
Hefner
the
did it all
cheeky
his
one.
life.
Hey,
Well,
she probably would have made out pretty well.
Yeah, exactly.
They
Yeah.
made out. Yeah.
Well,
But
she wouldn't
Hugh
have made out
Hefner
with
was
him at
doing-
all, but
Hugh Hefner was doing that until he died.
yeah, right. Yeah.
But so there's no symphony called "A Loud Groan from Hell."
No, that made that up completely.
That's your symphony now.
Um,
next
Bruckner,
That'll be
and
the
the
next musical.
Yeah.
sad thing about Bruckner is that, yes, he did keep that photo of his dead mom. He never had a photo of his mother alive. So that's the only photo he ever had of his mom.
Well, photography probably wasn't very advanced, and
Oh,
Yeah.
yes, it was. It was advanced with Brady in
Also
the Civil War.
yeah.
Actually, yeah, by 1890s, there was movies even almost.
Yeah.
okay.
That's not an excuse.
Well, she
They may have-
could have died, and he could have dug her up and taken the photo.
He believed. I'm sure he believed that they stole your soul or something. You know.
Well,
And
no, but the photography of the death was very common.
Oh,
in
really?
Victorian
Yes,
times.
it was. Oh
Well,
yeah.
maybe they dug up Beethoven and his mother on the same day and had a dual ceremony.
Actually, you're on the right track with that, David Sheward. Beethoven did die years earlier. They dug him up for whatever reason, and Bruckner, and he did this for Schubert too. He was able to hold their skulls and give them like a kiss before
Did
he
he go,
made them.
alas, poor Schubert,
Alas,
I knew
poor-
it well. Did he do that?
Yeah.
He really
Last
did
poor
that.
Ludwig.
He wanted to figure out how
Unbelievable.
their
Okay.
genius musical brains,
Wow.
maybe.
Put his fingers in the eye holes and went bowling. I mean,
Well, but he did, yeah. And then he leaned over and the glasses went. So
But if
Yeah.
you took a photo, they could reconstruct. We would know what.
Yeah, just like that episode of Maude.
Wait, I missed that. Uh-oh. Oh, well.
No, there was an episode of Maude where a friend of hers was being buried and she had a pin on that she borrowed from her and never returned. So she went over to the corpse and went, "Oh, Emily, boo!" And then she got the diamond ring or whatever it was off her body.
Oh, that's funny. I like that. I haven't
What a
seen it.
story.
Hello?
Anyway, we are in the midst of our today.
I missed the joke because you all got frozen.
Oh,
It says here, my internet connection is unstable, just like its
No,
mommy.
your internet connection is fine. You're unstable, Leslie, but we all.
I just said, just like its mommy.
I was just recounting an episode of Maude where
I
she
remember that. I remember that. I was laughing because I remembered it, but I didn't know if you said anything else. Go
Okay.
on, David, please.
Well, I want to tell everybody how, first of all, what an exciting game we have. It's a 4-2 game with Rhoda in front of Vicki, but only by 2 points. So anything can happen.
Right. That's right.
By the way, you're watching Dave's Gone By with me, Dave Lefkowitz, and our wonderful guests, Ronald Rand, David Sheward, Vicki Quade, Leslie Hoban Blake. We're all playing the Today, Yesterday trivia quiz on this Saturday, December 18th, 2021. Our 829th episode. We're calling it Rand Total in honor of our very, very special and fun guest in the Daverhood, Ronald. Are you having a good time, Ronald? Say yes, whether it's...
I'm having a blast. What couldn't be better?
Yay!
Ron is frozen.
but we can hear him.
I can hear
Ron,
it.
I once
Now
met
he's
your
moving.
great aunt Ein.
Now he's moving.
Oh,
I'm looking.
I said I once met your great aunt Ein.
Oh,
No.
you did.
wait. Are you actually related to Ayn Rand? Ronald?
No, not related.
Okay.
That
Oh,
was
that
not her
was
real
a
name.
real
It's
name,
okay.
too.
That was
Oh,
not
it
her
wasn't.
name.
And
That's a real name. No.
everybody stop moving around so maybe we'll keep our internet signal for a minute and then we won't be all frozen. I think if we,
Look at Ron.
look at David. All right, sure.
I liked your Stevie Wonder impression, David.
David Sheward, always the
Much better
soul of
now.
patience. Here we go. Let's who's next? Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We begin again with Rhoda. Team Rhoda gets the next question. And this is not a multiple choice.
Okay.
All right, here we go.
Uh-oh.
But you're artistic people. You might have this one.
Yes.
The year was 1897. Born today in Georgia, not Tbilisi, the other one. Is this pianist,
Georgia the state?
the state, band leader and arranger, who would help jazz music transition from Dixieland to swing. Both Louis Armstrong and Coleman Hawkins were in his band. Later in life, he joined Benny Goodman's band. Name that musician whose nickname was Smack, not because of heroin, but because he'd make a smacking sound with his lips.
Oh.
Oh.
Well, I was going to say Paul Whiteman, but I don't think that doesn't all fit with him. Now, do you know anything about this, Ron?
It may be the fellow who he has that strange instrument that sticks up.
So do most men.
That's rather personal.
I said that, yes, but when it's what
I
is
think
his
it's-
name?
I think it's King Oliver. The name Oliver, because I think Louis Armstrong did join. That was where he got started. He joined this guy who I think was King Oliver, but I think
King Oliver.
I think if
Yeah.
we just say Oliver, which was his last name, I think that will be good enough. What do you think?
Sounds good. Yes.
Okay, so Oliver.
Is that your final answer?
Yeah,
Yes.
Ron, you're okay with that? Yeah.
Good with that.
Okay. Oliver. He wrote some songs, but the answer is wrong. So we're going to go to our other contestant. We go to Team
It's a
Vicki.
steal. It's a steal
That's right.
possibility. Okay, read it again.
I shall indeed. Born on this date in 1897 in Georgia is this pianist, bandleader, and arranger who would help jazz music transition from Dixieland to swing. Both Louis Armstrong and Coleman Hawkins were in his band. Later in life, he joined Benny Goodman's band. Name that musician whose nickname was Smack, not because of heroin, but because he'd make a smacking sound with his lips.
When he was playing?
I'm just thinking Cab Calloway, but I don't know.
And I'm the
Oh,
Max thing is throwing me. Duke Ellington is right time-wise and what he did and who was in his band and all of those things. Um,
Ooh.
but then again, I'm thinking, well, jazz was primarily black before it became everybody's. It really was not. It did not belong to everybody. Duke Ellington made that transition to swing, and was able to play. I mean, take the A Train as a perfect example of that being a swing song. So,
What
go ahead.
what year are we in? Well, the question was what, 18 what?
1897, he was born. He
Right.
was a jazz musician who made the transition to swing. He had a band of his own that included Coleman Hawkins, and he played with,
Uh-oh.
now I can't remember the name. Who did he play with?
Well, both Louis Armstrong and Coleman Hawkins were in his band.
Right.
Later in life, he joined Benny Goodman's band.
Benny Goodman, right. So that was not, it had to be before 1939 because Goodman was killed in 1939, I believe, in an airplane crash. I'm pretty sure that's when he was killed, wearing a uniform. So if he was born in 1897, he would only have been 40 or 41 years old at that point, right? So I'm going to stick, unless you have a better answer, I'm going to stick with Duke Ellington.
Well,
If you have what do you think?
Well, I only know that Duke Ellington performed in 1974 at my college, and it was his 75th birthday.
Well, that makes sense. 1897. That's
Well,
very close.
close.
74. That's within a couple of years.
Okay, let's go with Duke Ellington.
No, if that's the only, is that the only guess it's because of the year. I would give that a 3-year,
Yeah. No, we'll do that. We'll go with Duke Ellington.
Lionel, see, the thing is, people being in his band, he had to be famous first. And Duke Ellington was famous, and Louis Armstrong did, if I'm not mistaken, play with I don't remember anything about Coleman Hawkins, I'm sad to say, except I know his music a little bit, but I don't know anything about his background. And Louis Armstrong did not have a band, and Cab Calloway never played with Benny Goodman, because Cab Calloway played the piano.
Yeah.
I don't believe he played any other instrument. So,
Right.
well,
let's
that
go
means
with,
he could have,
let's go with
wait,
Duke.
that means he could have smacked his lips, but Duke Ellington also played the piano. So
Let's go with it. Let's say the Duke.
the Duke, we're gonna go with the Duke. I don't know about the smack, but I'm gonna go with the Duke.
Go ahead.
Put up your dukes. No, I knocked you out with this question. That is not the correct answer. And listen, no, Benny, I think you're thinking of Harry James, because Benny Goodman lived well into, it's like 1970s, I think. He was still...
Didn't Benny Goodman get, no, I'm not thinking of Harry James.
Well, who was the guy with Tommy Dorsey? Somebody died in World War II, but it wasn't one of them.
Okay.
Goodman was fine.
Somebody did die, though.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I thought
Anyway,
it was Benny Goodman.
So
Anyway, what's the answer?
the answer is Fletcher Henderson. So nobody was...
Okay, right.
Oh,
Yeah, okay.
It's Glenn Miller.
Glenn Miller, thank
Glenn
you.
Miller, thank you.
Yes.
Thank you.
I remember Rock Follies, where they had a song called Glenn Miller is Missing. That was I couldn't remember the name. Yes.
So anyway, no points there. The answer, the smack guy, I don't even know
Nothing
about that.
ventured, nothing gained.
So
Okay.
the answer, what was the name again?
Fletcher Henderson.
That's
Really?
really.
Best known as an arranger mainly, and then he did a lot of arrangements. And
He did a lot of movie.
Benny Goodman.
Who was the guy who
He
did
did
like
a lot of movie stuff. What?
who did Ain't Misbehavin' and all that other stuff?
That's Waller.
that's Waller.
That's
Well, I
Waller.
mean, he did the arrangements
Oh, I don't know.
Not sure.
and got a drama desk award.
Oh,
And
Ruby
he did
Blake?
the adaptation of Jelly's Last Jam. Was it Luther Henderson?
Might have been.
Let me. I'm googling as we speak.
Yeah.
Luther Henderson, who might be related. I'm not sure.
He
We're
did
not
the
allowed to
arrangements
do that.
for Jelly's Last Jam, and he was at the
That's
Drama
right.
Desk Awards.
That was Luther. I'm going to check and see if he was related to Fletcher. No relation.
Okay,
But you're thinking of Luther Henderson, a different.
Luther Henderson, who did a lot
Who
of
did play
Broadway.
with Ellington. Yeah. So.
He did a lot of Broadway stuff.
All right.
Thank you.
Moving on. We're not. Where's Phil Schaap when you need him? We're just not jazz people. But we move on to our next question, which will go directly to Team Vickley. And by the way,
Okay.
we still have, it's a 4-2 game.
I don't know. We got to get this.
All right, here we go. You can tie it up with this multiple choice question.
This is only the second round, though, right?
Right.
Well, it's weird rounds now because the rounds are two questions each rather
Oh.
than 3.
Oh,
So it's
okay.
here we go. The
and
year,
give us 4 rounds then. So don't
Oh.
cheat it. Just give us
Whatever.
4 rounds. You'll have
Let's keep going.
2 extra questions.
there you go. We may have 2
Okay,
tiebreakers.
Dr. Sue, let's keep
Here we go.
going.
1936 was the year, Vicki. Arriving in San Francisco today, Su Lin, the baby panda, and the first live panda to be displayed in the United States. Which of these is not true about panda bears? A. The name of the sexual harassment panda mascot on South Park was Petey. B. Panda mamas who give birth to twins in the wild usually feed only one twin and leave the other to die. C. One paper company in China makes tissues out of recycled panda shit. Or D. Pandas have to eat more than half their weight in bamboo before they go off to hibernate.
Which is what, true?
One of these is not true. One of
Which
these
is
is
the
false.
false?
Yeah.
I just have to say that sometimes when you go to those, when we used to, in the old days, go to the 99-cent stores, you could buy tissues that were made in China. And all I can think of is, oh my God, if they were made out of shit, what? I don't know. Anyway, sorry about that. Vicki,
That
any
seems a
ideas?
little odd to me. I mean, it's so odd, but it seems like too odd. Because I don't know that there's that many pandas.
Enough to make that much shit. What was the first name of the? What was the name of that panda in in A? What was that
The
panda's
name of the sexual harassment panda from South Park was Petey.
Petey panda. P-E-T-Y or P-E-T-E-Y?
Petey.
Okay, Petey. And the second, I can't read my writing.
The second one is panda mamas who give
Okay,
birth.
twins.
Yeah.
The twins.
And the last one is eating their own weight in bamboo.
More than half their weight in bamboo.
Oh, more than
before they go
half
off
their weight.
to
Okay.
hibernate. Yeah.
Well, I don't know anything. I don't remember the name of the panda in South Park. Do you? No.
I
All right.
don't watch South Park, so I don't know.
I did. I
Oh.
sort of I'm
You're
off,
eating.
but there's a new one about the future. I'm going to try that. All right. So the thing about twins sounds
Sounds
feasible.
right. Let's say Petey, only because it might be close to that, but not quite that. Or Petey
we
might
don't
be the
go with,
name of
we
something
don't
else.
go with, they have to eat, wait a minute, they don't go with they have to eat half their weight before. Oh, we only want what's false. We don't want
What's
what's true.
false.
What's false?
Okay. Okay.
So I think it's either Petey or the tissue.
Okay. Well, the tissues is outrageous enough to be true.
Could be the twins too, though. Because why? I mean, are there a lot of twins?
I
There
think
aren't a
they make
lot
the
of twins.
tissues out of bamboo, not out of the panda. But that's another. Okay. So you want to go with Petey? We'll go with Petey.
Let's go with Petey.
Is that your final answer?
Yes.
Final guess, I think, is the better word.
Going on down to South Park, I'm going to get that answer wrong. No, it was in fact Petey the Panda, the sexual harassment panda, which is a classic episode. But
Sorry,
we
Leslie.
have a question that can be stolen
Okay.
by Team Rhoda, who can really go ahead here if they get 2 more points.
Okay. All right. So Ron, so it's so a panda mama, if she has twins, will leave one in the forest.
Mm-hmm.
Or panda shit is used to make tissues in China. Or bamboo, they have to eat half their weight in bamboo before they hibernate.
Right.
So it's false. You know, it's funny. I went to South Africa once and we saw these penguins on a beach, and I stepped in some penguin shit, and I got it on my pants. So I took it back to the cleaners in New York. It was like we were almost coming back to New York, and I didn't. And the cleaner said, "What is this on your pants?" And I didn't want to say penguin shit, but anyway.
What a heartwarming story, David.
Would you have rather
That
say your
is-
own?
Yeah.
That is the weirdest anecdote I've ever heard. It's the ending
Especially
that
for the
doesn't- I
holidays.
expected an ending on it. Jesus. Okay.
Well, maybe I should have
He's
just
gonna
said
put it in his
it's
new
penguin
musical.
shit.
Yeah.
And it was all over the beach. It was really.
How could there be penguins in South Africa? Don't they have to be in cold weather?
Yeah, regular. Yeah.
No, they
is.
I think they migrate. There's this town where they come and they migrate every year.
Whoa.
Well,
There's
there's
this whole
penguins, I
documentary.
think, on the Falklands. I mean, there's penguins in Antarctica.
There's this whole
Absolutely.
documentary about it
Yeah.
on Netflix.
Okay,
But anyway,
all
there
right.
is. I'm not making that up. There's a documentary about
Made
it.
it up. He made it up.
Yeah.
He wants to say, yes, it's real and it's not
Anyway.
real. Okay.
March of the
What do you
Shitting
think?
Penguins. Yes.
Which is false.
Which is false.
I think the bamboo thing is true.
Mhm, I
And
think so.
so it's either the twins or the panda shit. The panda shit is crazy enough to be true. What do you think, Ron?
Well, it could possibly be true if there is enough out there to use.
Oh, that's true. I mean, is there enough
you know,
panda shit?
I don't know if there's enough pandas. I mean, they're out there, but then I don't know if they really use it
Yeah.
that way.
So I think it's the panda shit is not true.
Yeah, I think so too.
I mean, that's the one.
Unfortunately, yes.
That's the one that stands out. But David may be trying to play with our heads, and we
Yeah.
haven't had a C answer yet. We've had a B and 2 Ds. So the panda shit.
Finally.
Ron, are you there?
Well, I think he froze. He froze. Give him a minute.
Yeah,
Ron
I'm
froze.
here.
Sound collecting.
It's good. Yeah,
Okay,
let's do
so
that.
You agree with me about the panda shit, right?
I do. Yes.
Okay. All right. We'll go with C.
Ah, shit. I'm afraid that's the wrong answer.
Oh.
There is a company that makes facial tissues out of
Oh,
recycled.
oh my God. That's
It's
scary.
not as disgusting as it sounds because most of panda shit is undigested bamboo. It just kind of
Oh,
goes.
that makes me feel much better.
I'm gonna go get some right now.
Yes.
So what's the answer?
Yeah, what's the answer?
Well, wait, first of all, you do know that the most expensive coffee in the world is made from nuts and beans shot out by gorillas. That's actually, or is it elephants? One of the two. Yeah.
Elephant shit coffee?
Isn't it lemurs? They eat lemurs.
Oh,
in
is it
school,
lemurs?
and then they
Yeah.
take
Lemur shit coffee, huh?
Yeah, it's good.
Wow.
Is that's a brand name if I ever heard one.
Yeah, lemur shit coffee is the heavenliest coffee. Heavenliest coffee.
That's one of your songs in the new
It's got
musical.
that earthy quality, you know?
Hey, it's good to the last dump.
Coffee,
Yeah.
a millionaire's money.
So what was the answer again?
Oh, here we go. Here's the deal. All of these were true, as I've said, except one. Piggy was the sexual harassment panda. In captivity, they're able to save twin pandas, but in the wild, the
That's
mother
why.
kind of leaves one to die. But pandas, who knew this, don't hibernate.
Oh,
They eat like 40 times a day and shit 50. So they won't make it through the winter if they try to hibernate. They actually
well, they're probably thinking, I got to shit enough to make the face.
And there's this guy with a whip
With a-
going,
come on,
more.
Come on, Ang Lee,
Wake
get
up.
out those. Come on, Ang Lee, we need 100 gross facial tissues today. We're short on our
You know,
quota.
I just saw this on TV last night on the Trevor Noah show that China has been buying up parts of South Africa or Panama. I've forgotten which now. But anyway, it's off the continent, the Asian continent, and they are running sweatshops. The Chinese are running sweatshops using the local labor. And they're sending Chinese workers, Chinese people to be the leaders so that they basically are the straw, the boss of
Right, yeah.
each group is Chinese in a non-Chinese country, in a Latin American country. I
Well,
forgot
anyway.
which country now.
I miss the old days of coolies
Very
and
upsetting.
railroads.
Are
you
they,
know.
is it a sweatshop with lemurs so we can have more coffee?
Yes, who are shitting all the
And
time. Yes.
panda. Yeah.
One room has the pandas
Tissue
for the
making.
facial tissue. Another room has the lemurs for the
That's
coffee.
right. They have
Lemur and
moved their
Panda
brand.
Incorporated.
But
And they have-
you know what it is? They lent money to these people and then the money was defaulted. So they now own 20% of the country. I can't remember what the hell country it is. Oh no, this is a fact. It was
No,
on.
I'm not. Yeah, wow. Okay.
Thank you,
So
Leslie.
do not
You
borrow
listen-
money from anything Chinese, please, or they'll
Thank-
own you.
Thank you,
and
Leslie.
Put you to work.
I think you have a job lined up at Frontline.
It was almost as good as your penguin shit story. Almost.
Almost.
There's a
By
job
the way,
at
Ron, I
CNN.
have that chair
Oh,
behind
God.
you.
Yeah,
Ron,
let's
I
get
have
on
that-
to our
Captain
next.
shit
Oh,
you
that's
have.
right. There's a job at CNN. Okay, we're ready. Round
Listen, when you
two.
mentioned Frontline, I thought, David, nobody's going to get that reference because Frontline are the people who do our health check. It's a whole different thing for us in my
It's
school
also the
district.
people
It's
who do
a
the flea and tick.
oh right, yeah. So yeah, I was like Frontline. Wait,
So that letter was another D, right?
that was D. That's
That's three Ds,
Yes,
David.
3 Ds in a row. That's
Three
weird.
Ds
Wow.
in a row. Well, no,
Well, I
not
do
in a
know
row.
about those triple
Yes,
D.
in a row. You're right.
There we go. Let's get on to our next question, which is going directly to Rhodey as we go into our next round.
Oh, right. That's your question. Oh, shoot.
So it's still 4-2.
It is
Yeah.
still 4-2. So I've been stumping you guys a little bit today. This is kind of fun.
Yeah.
But here is, and now you get to try it for yourself, Ronald, a 3 clues in the news. So remember way back when we started this
Yesterday.
today?
Yesterday.
Right.
And then we slept and came back to it,
That makes it yesterday and today, Vicky.
This is not so bad. This is not so bad.
Not as bad as
Stay
last
awake.
Not as bad as last week. but-
Well, last week was not. Yeah. Three words that are connected to another word. They're not connected to each other. So it can be word blank or blank word, just like sweet vegetable couch.
They're like Mad
This is
Libs.
our question, right?
What was
Oh,
that
sorry,
show
what?
with Betty White?
Is it our question or their question?
This
your
goes to the
question.
guys. This goes to Rhoda.
Yeah, it's the guys.
Question. Okay. All right. Go ahead.
And remember that it is going to be tied to something that's in the news this past week.
Okay.
Okay.
The words are monkey,
Monkey,
man, bite.
bite.
Monkey man.
Monkey, man, bite. Huh. And what was in the news this week? Monkey, man,
Monkey.
flea, monkey wrench,
Man.
man wrench, bite wrench,
Justin seems to know it.
Bite.
monkey vomit. No.
Oh.
Well, what
This
looks
is
like bananas,
bizarre.
tastes like bananas, and smells like bananas, but is not bananas. Monkey vomit. Okay.
Monkey. Oh,
Monkey
gosh.
man
Ronald, you can play along. You know, you're
bite.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure it all out, but it's bizarre.
Something. Well, what was in the news
Because
this
I
week?
was watching the news a lot.
Bite,
Yeah, that's man,
bite,
bite,
bee bite, fly bite,
bite,
man,
bite, monkey,
monkey on
Wow.
your back, monkey.
monkey man. Gosh,
Leslie got an easy. You got the easy one with rice. I mean, that was really simple.
Don't
Yeah.
complain.
But Leslie's saying I think she knows this one too. So
Yeah.
Monkey.
Oh, she's so quick with this.
Monkey fur.
Wow.
Monkey.
Monkey man.
Monkey.
Monkey
Banana.
and bite. Oh, bite.
Bite. Flea. Bug. Bite.
Can't figure it out.
But there
Boy,
is
you
like a
stumped me.
bug. What kind of bite do you love? Bite. Monkey love.
Something bites a man.
Man. Moon.
Monkey.
I don't know. The only thing I can think
I-
of. Paw.
I can't think of anything.
Bite.
I'm trying to put it all together
Bite.
with what's happened this week. It's bizarre. Okay, I'm stumped.
Yeah. How about flea?
Flea.
Yeah, I can't think of anything.
Okay,
Let's just say flea.
flea. Okay,
Yeah,
Flea.
you're so it's that is team.
that's all we can think of.
we'll have to go with it.
No, stay, don't flee. That is not the correct answer. So, Vicky, Leslie's like jumping at the bit, but Vicky, do you
Go
think?
ahead,
my
Leslie,
God.
do it. Say it.
Do you know it, Vicky? Just
No.
in case?
Go ahead.
Okay.
Go ahead.
All right. David, you're going to have to give up your pop culture credits on this one.
Okay.
Spider.
What?
Spider.
Spider?
Oh, right.
What word? What word?
Spider.
You're right. You're right.
Whoa,
Yeah, Iraq. Oh, we did come back to
Yeah,
Iraq.
did you think
Yeah.
of it? Yeah.
Excellent, Leslie.
Spider
Very good. Very good.
Spider
Ron, they either come or they never come. That's the problem with these things.
That's what
These
they
were
said
Yeah.
to me,
last night.
they just,
Yep.
they? How many were there,
Oh.
David? They?
But you said they. I didn't.
What did Jerry have to say about that, David?
You said they.
But I will say that this is kind of cool. By the way, the reason for that question was Spider-Man: No Way Home opens this week. It's like the
Yeah.
box office for that film.
Multiverse, yes.
So Spider-Man
Okay.
or Spider is the correct answer. Well done. Guess
Very good.
This is
And now we're tied.
Now we're done.
Tied.
Oh, we got to get going here.
Oh,
Yeah.
So where are we in the game now?
well, here's the deal, Leslie.
Tied.
Well, we're not going to. I don't think we'll do a tiebreaker. We'll just do the 10 questions back and forth, back and forth. But you guys can take the lead because this is your question. It's the 8th question of the game.
All right.
So this, and it goes directly to you first. So Leslie and Vicki, oh my goodness. Ooh, you can break the tie if you get this multiple choice question correct. Are you guys ready?
Yes.
Sure.
The year was 1966. Chuck Jones and Ted Geisel collaborate on what will become an animated classic, How the Grinch Stole Christmas, debuting tonight on CBS TV. Although the program takes a negative view of Grinches, it isn't racist the way some Dr. Seuss books undeniably are. In fact, 6 books were so politically incorrect that earlier this year, Dr. Seuss Enterprises itself pulled them from circulation. Among the titles yanked were all of these except one,
Okay.
which A, The Shape of Me and Other Stuff, B, And to Think That I Saw It on Mulberry Street, C, McGilligut's Pool, D, On Beyond Zebra.
I looked up those books when they were banned.
So did
I
I.
was really curious to see what the issues were.
And some of them were pretty...
Yeah, I also went on eBay to see if they were being sold, and of course, they immediately were being sold.
So did I.
$1,000.
Vicki, we really are the same person. Vicki,
Yeah.
don't do this one out loud.
Okay,
Because don't do this one out loud. You looked him up, I looked him up. Let's just throw back and forth what we think the right answer is, okay?
okay.
This is a strategy. All
Maybe,
right?
maybe
Stratagem.
with each other,
Excuse
but
me.
yeah.
Oh,
The
man.
stratagem.
We're in trouble.
Could you give the
Yeah.
titles again, Dave?
I'll read them again. So among the titles yanked were all of these except one, which was not. Okay. A, The Shape of Me and Other Stuff. B, And to Think That I Saw It on Mulberry Street. C, McGilligut's Pool. D, On Beyond Zebra.
And I'm sure about 2 of them, Vicki.
Me too.
Okay. So the of the 2 that we're not sure of, I'm sure we're sure of the same ones. I'm thinking On Beyond Zebra. Wait, no, wait, I'm sorry. It's which one is not one of those books?
Yes.
Right.
Then I'm thinking The Shape of Me.
Yes. It's either that or one other one. But yes, let's go
Yeah.
with that one.
Okay.
Is that your final answer?
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you, Vicki. If I'm wrong, I'm sorry.
No.
Final
Okay,
answer.
go. Do it. Yes.
Well, you two are in great shape. That is the correct answer. Well done. You guys are in the lead team.
Yeah,
That's why I didn't want to discuss it, Vicki.
No,
because
that's
it was
right.
given away.
I would have gotten that because I remembered the list.
Yeah.
I'm
because I was
sure.
curious.
I'm sure you would have. It's
No,
not
I'm
exactly
curious.
rocket
No
science.
denigrating
question.
our win.
I'm not denigrating.
Children's librarian, Vicki. I was
No,
a children's
you
librarian for
won
a
it.
couple of years, and I had to look it up anyway.
But
And I
David
also
Sheward,
wanted to buy a couple of those books. The same thing.
Yeah. Yes,
do you
they
remember the other 3 that were pulled?
One was the zoo. There was one with the
Right.
zoo.
If I ran the zoo, that's
And then
one.
what about the circus?
No, circus was not one of the pulled ones.
Ah.
Weirdly enough, yeah.
McGilligut's and what do you call it?
Well, that was pulled.
What I saw on Mulberry Street.
Mulberry,
Mulberry Street
that was pulled.
McGilligut's were pulled.
Right.
The zoo one was pulled.
On Beyond Zebra was pulled. If I ran the zoo was
Wow.
pulled. 2 more. These are not well-known Seuss books.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
I
can't
don't remember any longer. But what were they?
Scrambled Eggs Super and the Cat's
Ah.
Quizzer, which was like
The cat's what?
the Cat's
Quizzer.
Quizzer.
Oh,
And if you've ever touched the Cat's Quizzer, you know just how they jump in the air and they don't
Ooh.
like it. But you know,
And the reason I don't remember them is that they're not well known. That's the
Right.
problem. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
so but
And that's why they're not well known. It's a vicious circle.
we have
You're
a
frozen. Come back. Okay.
a 6
here.
game between Team Vicki Quade and Leslie Hoban Blake versus
I have
David
to get my
Sheward
paper.
and Ronald Rand.
Wait, my paper fell on the floor.
Oh, oops.
I think is it 6-4?
It is 6-4
oh,
in
okay.
favor of the ladies.
all right.
6-4.
Yeah, we have two
We're
more.
close.
And
So
was
this-
that what letter was that?
That was an
that
A.
was
That was an A.
A.
yes.
So we
So
have
here's the
3
deal.
D's, a B, and an A.
There's a strategy here, I see.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
it doesn't work anymore, but it is a strategy. It was a
I'm all
very good
alone.
strategy at one point.
I want to remind people you're watching Dave's Gone By. It is December 18th, 2021, our 829th broadcast. We're calling it Rand Total in honor of our guest here, Ronald Rand. Plus, he is playing the Today Yesterday quiz versus David Sheward, Leslie Hoban Blake, and
Well,
Vicki
with
Quade.
David Sheward.
Yes.
You said versus.
We're a team.
Yeah,
Oh,
we're
yeah, that's right.
Right.
In
today-
collaboration, right.
Today we're calling it the Vickley and Rhoda Show.
The Vicki and Rhoda show, yeah. One of the Mary
Characters in
Poppins
David's new
movies.
musical.
Yeah. All right.
Loud
Right.
Road from Hell.
Yeah, that's it.
Sponsored by your friends. Sponsored by your friends at Lima Shit Coffee.
King of poop.
Now, Mark Maron would take that as a sponsor.
I would take it. I'll take anybody as a sponsor. Mm.
Well, that too.
Oh, Lord.
Like this program is brought to you by the Rwandan Children's Army. I'm sure. Okay, fine. They'll pay me. Anywho,
Okay.
this is it. This is like the final round.
All right.
Wow.
Very exciting.
Very
2 more
excited.
questions, though, right? There's
Yes.
only 2 more questions.
Questions,
Team
right?
Roga. Team Roga. We have two
Yes,
more.
we're ready.
There's no tiebreaker. So this we're just.
We are ready.
It's a
We're
tie.
ready.
1969 was the year. Premiering in London tonight is On Her Majesty's Secret Service, the 6th film in the James Bond series, and the first without Sean Connery. The movie is about spying in England, but this question is about the U.S. Secret Service. Which of these is false? A. The Secret Service code names for Joe and Jill Biden are Celtic and Capri. B. The Secret Service code name for Eleanor Roosevelt was Rover. C. The Secret Service always travel with bags of blood that are the president's blood type, just in case. Or D. Abraham Lincoln signed the order to create the Secret Service on September 22nd, 1862, the same day he signed the Emancipation Proclamation. Which of these is false?
Okay, so the code names for the current president and first lady are Celtic and something.
Capri.
So which is false, right?
False, right, false.
The code name for Eleanor Roosevelt was Rover. The Secret Service carries bags of blood in case they need it for the president. And Abraham Lincoln created the Secret Service the same day as he signed the Emancipation Proclamation. That's what you're saying?
Right. One of those is not true.
Huh. Well, I think that they do carry bags of blood. I think so
too.
because there was this episode of St. Elsewhere where, and it was with Betty White, who was celebrating her 100th birthday,
Yes.
where she was a government surgeon and she had to have the hospital be ready in case something happened. But that wouldn't make sense because in case something happened with the president.
I'm just
That's right.
laughing because it was obviously a comedic episode.
Yeah. And
All the possibilities.
yeah, and there was
Oh my
a
God.
patient played by Oliver Clark who thought he was Mary Richards, and he ran into Betty White and said,
Right.
"Oh, Sue Ann," and she looked at him and said, "What? What are you talking about?"
Right.
That's an actual episode of St. Elsewhere.
I
But
don't remember
anyway,
that at all. But okay, yeah.
anyway,
Yeah,
Based my
but
life
Denzel
on
Washington was not in that one.
I think he was. He was on the show almost the whole run.
I think the snow globe must have had a problem at that point.
It was dented that day. Yeah.
All right. So what do you think, Ron?
Okay.
I think that C is true. I
Yeah.
don't know. I do think that he created the Secret Service the same day as the Emancipation Proclamation.
It's either A or D, I think.
All right.
So I don't remember reading that he created the Secret Service the same day Emancipation Proclamation. I
Yeah.
mean, that was a lot to do on that day.
Yeah, I think it was.
I understand.
And
Yeah,
we've had 3 Ds. I don't think David
Yeah.
was the 4th D.
and I don't think the Secret Service was created then. Pinkerton's service was
Oh,
protecting
Oh,
everybody.
so that means we're saying we think that it might be D, and that it would be 4.
Might be D,
So it might
because
be 4D.
Pinkerton was very involved with the Secret Service.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think it was around before the Emancipation Proclamation. 'Cause I think it protected him on the way to the inauguration.
So it's not.
Um,
D.
I
Oh wait,
think
wait.
that
So you're
D
saying
is,
D is false?
D is false.
All right.
That's what I'm.
Okay, David
do you
maybe
think?
around with us with the D's. So okay, D. I'll
Is
go
that
along with D.
Your final answer?
Yeah.
Sure.
Let me tell you a secret service. You have 2 points because you got that right. Yes, indeed.
Yes.
Tie game. Here's the
Okay.
weird part. The president was protected, for a while, but the Secret Service was created by Lincoln. This is the really fucked up part. Abraham Lincoln signed the thing to create the Secret Service on April 14th, 1865.
Mm,
What happened that day?
yeah.
You got
Oh
shot.
my God.
That
Did
was
he
the
really?
morning he signed the Secret Service thing, and
Wow.
there you go.
Oh.
Well,
But
they did a great job. Yeah.
Maybe
It worked.
Sure, there was
I
a
mean,
movie
yeah.
about an agent traveling on the train, but I think it was with Lincoln's corpse. I think it was taking Lincoln's corpse.
and he dropped the eyeglasses into Lincoln's
It was,
car.
and they dropped the eyeglasses. But
actually-
it was a black and white movie, and I think it was to protect the corpse because there were enemies along the route that would have wanted to desecrate it
No,
or steal
I
it.
think there was another. There was a black and white movie with Dick Powell, called The Tall Target, which was
Yes, that's the one I'm thinking of. Yes.
And they were going. He was going to. I forget if it was for the inauguration or something.
No,
but
I think he was already dead. I think the coffin. He was protecting the coffin.
I'm
There
not
was no
sure about
Lincoln
that.
in the movie.
I'm
I
not.
think.
I'll have to look this up.
I saw it, parts of it recently.
And that during that Dick Powell marathon.
Yeah. And there's a scene where people are arguing about the war, and it's like the war hasn't started yet. So I think it was before the. But anyway.
Oh, okay.
Oh, it was.
Well,
It was.
then-
people who were
then it
flying
might have
the
been going. That may
It
be the one where he wrote the declaration, the
No.
the Gettysburg Address on an
No, I
envelope.
think
on that.
no, I think it was he was going to get inaugurated, and he was on the train to Baltimore, and there were people who wanted to assassinate him.
Oh, okay.
And
That's
Dick
right.
Powell was going to stop the plot.
There are so
Yeah.
many movies about Lincoln traveling trains. God only knows if we remembered any of them.
Okay,
Well,
now
they were definitely trying to kill him on the train that day, and he had to get off, and that was the whole controversy because he got off dressed like a woman.
he had a
with the
no, he had a
Lincoln
shawl.
did that?
No, he had a
Shawl.
shawl on.
Oh,
Shawl,
okay.
and he
It wasn't
and
in
his
petticoats.
hat- petticoats. Yeah.
A
It's
very
not- he wasn't
tall
Mrs.
woman.
Dow-
Beard
he
would
wasn't-
have been a dead giveaway.
It wasn't. It wasn't.
The
Mrs.
hat,
Dow-
the hat alone.
Now
Unless
that
they
we now that
decorated
we've
the hat somehow.
derailed the whole show.
Yeah.
and-
Hello, welcome back. We're watching the Dave's Gone By program. One thing I will say is that the Secret Service was initially created not to protect the president. It had to do with financial stuff and going after fraud and things like that. It wasn't until much later that the Secret Service, like in the 1900s, they started actually being detailed that protected the president. But
So
here-
David Sheward, David Lefkowitz did 4 Ds. So we
Yes.
got to figure out a way around this. So we got to do an end run on this, okay? End
All right,
run
so
on
this is
it.
the last question. We
Yeah.
have
it
to get
says
this.
no, it is not a multiple choice.
Oh.
So
Oh.
the answer will not be D. Now I can guarantee.
That screws everything up.
Yeah, really.
This is going to be interesting. Here we go. And it goes to Vicki and Leslie. Tie game. 1963 was the year. United Artists releases The Pink Panther, a comedy caper movie so successful that it spawns 2 decades worth of sequels. Peter Sellers played Clouseau, of course, and David Niven the Phantom. Later films pitted Sellers Clouseau against Chief Inspector Dreyfus, played by Herbert Lom. In 2006 and 2009, the franchise was relaunched with a Pink Panther 1 and a Pink Panther 2. Steve Martin starred in both, but each film had a different Inspector Dreyfus. For 1 point each, can you name the Dri-Fi? Here's a clue. Both men starred together in a 1988 heist comedy and its sequel.
That's a hard one.
That's what she said. 1 point each. Can
Okay.
you name the Dri-Fi?
Vicki, let me just think for a minute and then I'll throw out some stuff, okay?
Okay.
Because I've watched all these movies. It's a question of remembering stuff.
Da-dan, 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 da-dan.
Vicki, do you know the movies at all?
I do. I'm just trying to think.
Okay,
I didn't really think the Steve Martin ones were very good.
I didn't either. That's why I can't remember them.
What happens when the Pink Panther steps on an ant?
What?
What?
Da-dan,
Right.
da-dan,
Not,
da-dan.
okay, that's not fair. I want it silent now, please.
Okay,
Not fair.
okay.
We're still thinking.
Oh
Thank
wait.
you.
So what's the clue that they were both in?
Here's the deal.
Another, in a 1988 heist movie together and the sequel to that. So we also have to know a 1988 heist movie and its sequel. Nothing easy about this one.
Oh, this is a hard one.
That's what she said.
A heist movie, 1988. And that 1988 film had a sequel.
Correct.
Yep,
And I
And
will
both men were in-
the thing.
and
a
both men were
1988
in that.
heist comedy and its sequel.
It's a comedy.
Wow. Complete silence.
Hmm.
David, just shake your head. Do you know the answer?
I'm not saying.
Oh, you're not saying, okay,
I'm not saying.
okay.
Well, we have to get this, otherwise they
All
win.
right. Well, yeah, so, all right, so you want to throw some stuff around or should we talk
Sure.
out loud about this one?
Yeah, we can talk out loud. That's fine.
All right.
Because if we don't get it, then
It's not Mel Gibson and the other guy. It's not them
no.
because they neither one of them was the inspector. Not the inspector, but what is his title?
Chief Inspector
Chief
Dreyfus.
Inspector. Neither one of those was Dreyfus. Okay. So
A heist comedy in
I'm wondering
1988.
if Martin Short was in it, but I can't imagine him playing Chief Inspector. And what did Martin Short go on to do? A heist movie? I don't remember that. So
A lot of the heist movies I'm thinking are later. I'm trying to think what came out in '88.
I don't know. Eddie Murphy and Beverly Hills Cop was around then, I think.
Yeah, but I don't remember
Again,
Eddie Murphy.
No,
Yeah.
Eddie Murphy would not have been in this thing. No, I'm just talking about. And there was like the Bad Boys movie, but those guys would not have been the chief inspector either. So I'm getting very confused. I'm confusing myself. Oh, heist movies. Ocean's 11 was much earlier, and Ocean's 12 was much later. So 88 doesn't do that. Comedy heist movie.
That had a sequel. It was so successful, it had a sequel.
Right, but I can't even think of any other. I'm just thinking of all the heist movies that I can remember from roughly that time period.
It's a tough question.
It is a tough question.
And I cannot remember the Steve Martin movies at all, except that he made those funny faces. I can vividly remember the Peter Sellers and the globe spinning around and him, putting his finger on the globe, all of that. And poor Herbert Lom with that eye that twitched like that.
Yeah, he was great. God, I'm
It wouldn't
thinking.
Go ahead.
No, I'm just thinking. This is the movie.
Look at David Lefkowitz. Look at him. He's see like the cat with the cream. Go ahead,
yeah,
Vicki,
yeah.
I'm sorry.
He doesn't
Is
have
there
to
a time limit here?
mix them up.
Is there a
Tell
time?
me what you're thinking, Vicki, if you want to say it out loud.
Give them your cute
Give-
look. You know,
Throw
Who-
me initials if you don't
who
want to.
played Elfie?
your cute look.
Elfie?
Yeah, who played Elfie?
I don't even know what Elfie is.
Oh, the movie, the Ipcris file.
Oh,
every
oh,
film.
There's Alba. Alba.
Well, that was Michael Caine
Michael
in the
Caine.
movie.
Yeah,
We're getting
yeah.
a wrap
Okay.
up
I'm
motion
thinking,
from David Sheward.
Oh, Alfie. You
Answer.
said
Alfie.
Alfie. The movie was Alfie. Sorry.
right. I'm thinking Michael Caine might be one of the.
What's it all
Who's in that
about,
movie?
Elfie?
It's
Do you deliver those presents
It's
with
the
Santa?
long lost Christmas song. It's
Yeah,
the long
really.
lost
a cut
Christmas
song from
song.
Wicked. All right,
Isn't
yeah.
that his son's name?
Wow.
I'm thinking it
Well,
might be
that's
Michael Caine.
Possible. He played a lot of Butler. Yeah, he took smaller roles later on. I wouldn't be averse to that. But who was with him and what heist movie did he do that was popular?
Okay. Still Saturday morning here, December.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
This is a toughie, David. This is a real toughie without multiple choice.
Yeah.
I'm gonna need an
And
answer.
it's not one, it's two. It's by way of this one to get that one. So that's, come on, this is a little, it's fair, but it's tough.
Yes. Wow. Okay.
I'm gonna be here for a while, you know.
Well, he's
Yeah.
assuming you're going to go down to defeat. Thank you.
That's a hint. Was that a hint to go down to defeat?
No.
David
David
Sheward,
put his feet up just
because he's
now.
kind of a heel.
Oh,
All right.
all right, please. I just-
Hey, Ron, you're laughing. You wrote the soul of the American actor.
I'm trying.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you very much.
I'm really
All right.
Any ideas? Any ideas, Vicki?
I'm sorry. I'm really.
No,
I'm
Michael
really
Give your
Caine.
website, Vicki. Something.
1988. I'm just thinking heist movies. Go ahead, do it.
Well,
No, I'm not. I haven't given up yet.
Oh,
All right.
well, good.
Um,
All right. I'm
Okay.
going to wait until the clock ticks till 11:50, and the second it does, I'm going to need an answer from you guys. And we're like somewhere within 1 minute away. So,
all right. Okay.
It's 11:50.
Comedy. 1988.
Leslie said
I
she
think so.
Ask Leslie.
Pretty sure that David knows this one, so it's making me crazy that I can't come up with one.
Leslie, don't let people get
Peter Lawford, and no, that was later. That was earlier that they did that. Never mind. Are they both men? Am I allowed to ask that, or you can't tell me?
You're not
that?
allowed to ask. I'm giving you the clue. Well, you know what? It's in there. Here's a clue. Both men
Yes.
start together.
Thank you. Thank you. That's okay. Then I won't go down the other road I was thinking.
Oh, God.
There's
Vicki,
literally
no,
another Delta
nothing.
variant.
Right,
I'm going through movies in my head, and I can't pick a movie that has two different people who might be.
No, all right.
the
I
Pink
give
Panther.
up. I give up.
I
I
give
can't.
up.
Say names, or you just want to pass. Okay.
No, I
Michael Caine.
just give up.
Okay. We have a steal opportunity here from Ron to win the game.
They won. They won already, didn't they?
No, it's a tie
We're
game.
tied. We're tied.
Oh, it's a
We're
tie.
tied.
All right. Are
Pete,
you
got an
ready?
idea, Dave? Yeah, ready.
Kevin Kline and John Cleese.
Oh,
Ron, do you agree? Do you want to talk?
I absolutely agree, because I remember it now. Yes.
I
Is that your
remember a
final-
fish called Wanda. I don't remember a second.
It was, well, first of all, congratulations! Come in, it's raining men. Yeah. Well done. That was the thing. It was Kevin Kline and John Cleese who starred together in A Fish Called Wanda and its sequel, Fierce Creatures, which nobody remembers that one. And yes, it was Kevin Kline in the first Pink Panther reboot movie. But
Uh-oh.
wow,
We
Ron.
lost Ron.
Maybe hit the button.
Come back, Ron. Come back.
To do Ron, to do Ron.
I hate it when they win and run. I hate it.
It may be that it was confusing because the sequel to A Fish Called Wanda, it was the same actors, but they weren't playing the same characters, and it was a totally different storyline and plot.
Oh, okay. I didn't remember that, so it's not really.
Well, that's why I couldn't think of it, David, because you didn't remember that.
Well, and at
Not
first
your
I thought I remembered that Kevin Kline was the inspector.
Oh, you did? I did not remember.
I couldn't
I
Well,
remember
then,
very well
but-
because when the movie came out, it was so like, wow, Kevin Kline must need money to do this piece of crap. And then I didn't know about John Cleese until you said they were both in this thing.
No.
Right.
And,
there you
go.
uh,
Makes
and,
sense.
and the sequel, they were both in it. So it must have been John
Yeah.
Cleese.
And you're right. And that's
Very good.
exactly well
Very
done,
good,
David.
David. That was
Sheward.
David. I doffed my
David.
imaginary hat
Yeah,
to
it's
you. I
like
could
Kevin
put one of
Kline
them
was
on, but I'm not
was
going
one
to.
of my favorite actor, and he was just so handsome and
He's
Kevin
still
Kline?
around?
yeah, he's still around.
He's
Because
alive. He's alive and
Oh
well.
yeah.
is my favorite actor, and he's
So
just
is his very much
wonderful and
younger wife, who's not that much younger anymore.
Yeah.
Phoebe Cates.
As they get older, they both move together. Abbott and Costello proved that
Phoebe
mathematically.
Cates had the most wonderful little store uptown called the Blue something, the Blue Tree, I think. And I used to order my neck braces from that store. I couldn't find them anywhere else. Well, they're black braces that you can wear out in front of people, and for my
Braces?
neck.
She had a
they're like-
medical supply store.
No, they're the kind that you can wear in public.
But why wouldn't you? Why would you wear a neck
Wait,
bracelet?
I have one. Hang on. I have one right here. I have.
And don't
them all
forget to
over
get
my
the
house.
stone. Get the
But get
stone.
the
that
stone
we-
so we
This
can
is
see the
what they look
stone.
like. Okay, that's what they are.
Nice. Oh, they're pretty.
They're nice. That's the whole point.
It's
They're
like a
about
muff.
$20.
You
They're
know,
about
It's
20
kinda
bucks.
flimsy.
You can wear them either way, and I could wear them to the theater. I
looks
could wear
kinda-
them like a turtleneck. I could, I could put a scarf over them.
Looks-
But it
looks
wasn't
kinda
like that
flimsy.
kind of brace that you get from the doctor.
no,
So-
okay.
I guess
Okay, so
Ron is not
what does
coming
the
back.
stone look like?
It's like a female version
Oh,
of the
I can't.
Dickie.
What does what look like? I'm sorry.
The stone, Ronald Stone that he gave you, or that you got from him.
Do you want me to go get it?
Let's go get it. And meanwhile, I'll thank everybody.
Well, Ron
And
made a
what-
hobby out of this. I don't know if he actually
Ronnie,
made a living.
are you
with
there?
it.
Audio-y? Are you there?
I think he went off. Because,
No.
well, it says 5 participants, so he must still be
He's
on.
still there.
Just-
Yeah.
Maybe the
Right
video.
back.
Maybe
Audio
the
and video or not.
He's celebrating. He went to get some champagne to celebrate.
Right. He's not
I
going to
can't
share
even
it
do the
either.
video. It's
Here, okay, I'll show you. Go to participants.
But I have to leave by 12, so I don't want to.
yeah. We're finishing up here.
Click on that.
So I'm clicking on
Oh,
participants.
look, I've only seen part
Oh,
of
he's trying to come in.
a
He's trying to come
tiny
in.
portion of a face. Look at a hand.
She lives. She exists. She's real.
Yes.
So what is also real is my gratitude for all these wonderful people being part of this program. For example, Vicki Quade, whom you can see at Chicago's Greenhouse Theater
Oh,
doing
wait a
both
second.
Christmas
That's what I wanted.
Christmas bingo and oh my god, it flew out of my
Midnight
head.
Catechism.
Midnight Catechism. What is your website again? Nuns for Fun.
Nuns for Fun with the number 4, Nuns number 4 Fun. But starting in January, we go back to Bible Bingo, which is kind of the mother superior of all the bingo shows.
Oh,
And
yeah.
I have a deal, and I think you might like this. If people bring in, it's probably not for this audience, but if people bring in a gift to regift, they got something they didn't want, we'll give them a half-price ticket.
Oh my god. Can I
And
get
then
my herpes?
I donate to the Little Sisters of the Poor for their gift shop there.
Can I just send you all the stuff I don't want, and you can
Yes, we
I don't
donate
need
it.
a ticket.
I take
There's
it
Ron.
right over.
re-gift it to whoever you want to.
I
Hey,
take
Ron,
it right over to the
this
Little
is the little
Sisters.
stone that
Oh.
Ron made.
Oh, it's beautiful.
She is
Ah,
fantastic.
yes.
Lovely.
And as I said,
Thank
it
you.
reminded me of New Mexico. And
Wow.
I think it used to have,
Looks like a candy corn.
Right, or
it's made out of a stone. Just so you see, it's made out of a stone, right? Can you see that? Wait,
Yes.
I'm putting
Hold it to that. Wait.
It's a
There's the
stone,
back. Yeah.
and there's the front.
Oh,
And
Yeah.
it used to have, you gave me one that you signed to me, like to Leslie from Ron, but this one is not signed. So it's
Oh,
worthless.
okay, I'll have to come back and sign it.
yes, I want to
One of
sign
these
Ron
days-
from Ron.
One
too.
of these days, we'll meet in person,
Okay.
Ron,
Recycled gifts.
and we'll wave and say,
Absolutely.
aren't you that guy I used to know, Congratulations on
That's
being
right.
the winner.
Yes, congratulations.
Thank you.
Are there any tie-breaking questions left?
There's no time.
There's no time.
Is there
We're
a
out of time.
tie-breaking
Time.
question? I just want to
Darn
answer
it.
some.
No.
Right.
I still had
Okay,
10
never
questions.
mind.
Yeah. So let me ask David Sheward, who writes for a couple of different places, including his blog, The David Desk, and TheaterLife.com and CulturalDaily.com. What have you written about? What show? Oh, Ron, you're gone. Where'd you go? Okay. Well,
Okay.
David, go for it.
All right. Well, I will have today on TheaterLife.com and then later on Cultural Daily a review of Company and tied in with a review of Kimberly Akimbo, both of which I really liked. They're both about women who are facing consequential birthdays, and they're both. Company's really, really great. I really enjoyed everything about it, and Kimberly Akimbo is really wonderful. And there are rumors that it may try to go to Broadway. It might, because the Lyceum is now available now that Diana has closed and Macbeth is going into the Longacre instead
Who
of
is that wonderful actress who originated the role in Kimberly Akimbo?
Victoria Clark.
No,
In the play?
Originally, yes.
And the play was Mary Louise Burke.
Mary Louise Burke, whom I adore. Okay, okay.
But
Right, yeah.
Victoria Clark is wonderful. So
Oh,
at the award, if it goes to Broadway, we will have dueling Clarks, Sharon D. Clark in Caroline or Change,
wow. Well,
and Victoria
yeah.
Clark in Kimberly Akimbo for Best Actress in a Musical.
Right.
Cool. Remember, go to
Very
read
cool.
David Sheward's writing in TheaterLife.com, CulturalDaily.com, his blog, The David Desk. Before he runs away again, Ronald Rand. Everybody,
Thank you.
go get his new book, Solo Transformation on Stage. And,
Thank you.
Joyce has posted a link to it, but remind us what the
Thank you.
website and how they can get it, please.
Yeah, you can go to Sunbury Press, www.sunburypress is where you can get the book.
SUNBURY, Sun, like bury the dead.
That's right.
Bruckner Wood.
Exactly.
Sunbury.com or sunburypress.com.
I saw Ron perform in, now what the hell, who was the
Let It
director?
Be
who
Art?
played?
Let It Be Art, the Clerman show?
No,
Oh,
he was a solo performer, a famous director.
yes,
one of the most
Harold
famous
Clerman in
Harold
Let It Be
Clerman. I
Art,
saw him
yes.
to this Harold Clerman show. David, before you go, we finally edited your. It was difficult because the review of Caroline or Change went on for 20 minutes.
Oh, okay.
And we have a 10-minute slot to film, maybe
Okay.
12 at the outside. So we've been playing it and cutting and then putting things back and playing it and putting in this. It's one of the more difficult ones we've had to do. I'm very sorry. And Charlie's time has been very limited this week.
I'm looking forward. We all do this as sort of a side hustle, most of us. So
Right.
There's no hustle involved. It's just a hobby.
But you managed to teach all day and still write your Dharma desk thing and all of that stuff. So,
Yeah.
but
Did you
I
cut it down
can only
to
do-
I liked it? I liked it.
that's how we're going to do the edit. Is I liked this, and Charlie will say, but I couldn't hear it, and then we'll go back to. It was very funny.
yeah, right.
One thing
Yeah.
I do want to say is what Leslie is talking about, though, is her the show, the podcast video that she does with Charlie Gross. It's called Critics Circle, and you guys can watch it on their YouTube channel, Critics Circle. And she's talking about that she's had various guest critics come up. She and Charlie have a guest critics come on and review shows. So David Sheward reviewed, what was it for them?
Well, this is his
Caroline
second time.
or Change.
Carolina. And other critics have been on there too. So that's called.
And if you ever went to the theater again, David Lefkowitz, we would have you.
I know, I apprate that. I was going to start going, and then Omicron happened, but yeah.
No, see,
I have
that's it.
to-
And I'm in the same position. I can't go to
David's
the
gotta
theater.
go.
So
I've got to
Bye-bye,
go. I'll see you
David.
later. See you.
Thank
have
you,
a
David
good
Sheward.
time,
Oh.
David, whatever you
Wait,
do.
Great to see
what?
you.
We're not doing it for Christmas. I take it we will skip Christmas Day.
Actually, are you guys available on Christmas Day, Leslie?
Sure.
I don't know. I don't know.
I think so. I'm entertaining my sister, but I think I can get everything done in advance. So if I can get everything done in advance, yes. But let me know if David and Vicki can do it. I'll
let
be
you
glad
know.
to.
We'll let you know. We won't have. Yeah. Okay. Bye, David. Okay. But we will. I'm thinking doing a show Christmas morning. We won't be doing a show on New Year's Day because we'll be doing our annual New Year's Eve special, which I would love for you guys to just call in for 5 or 10 minutes just for fun,
Sure.
just to say hi.
That'd be fun.
Did you do a Tony show this year?
We did a Tony special, not when the Tonys happened, But
Right.
last year, when it would have been Tony time, it
Yes,
was
last year I think you called me, but this year you didn't, so that's why I didn't know.
we didn't. Yeah, I haven't been to the theater. I'm not even.
No, you were in
Yeah,
the press.
I know.
You were in the Tony press
That's
room. You were in
right.
the press room
Right.
for the Tonys. Yeah.
yeah. This year,
Say that again?
we had Rabbi Saul was in the behind the scenes Zoom virtual press room
Oh.
of the Tonys, lobbing interview
Interviewing,
questions.
You
It was
interviewed all those people.
it was
Yeah.
so boring. It was such an awful way to spend Tony night. It was.
They didn't stream in the winners, so you basically sat there with dead air, waiting for someone to come in and talk to the reporters.
Yeah, and then some winner would sit down for like 2 minutes, answer 1 or 2 questions from the press, and then they'd go off and there'd be 10 minutes of dead time. It was horrible.
It wasn't well
Oh, I
organized.
hated
Who
it.
sat down with you?
With Rabbi Saul, it was Diablo Cody, who won for her wonderful book for Jagged Little Pill.
Yes. Yeah.
And I'm
He
forgetting.
looks like Cary Grant, one of the white young guy.
Really? No, it's a black. I don't even remember who. Well, you know what? Go on Dave's Gone By, look for our interviewees, and look for whenever the Tonys were, and you'll find out. Rabbi Saul talked to a couple of people. One of them was Diablo Cody. The other was
Don't doesn't he look good in that picture?
He still looks good. What do you mean? He doesn't
Well, no,
look.
I didn't mean it that way, but I mean, look at that. It's just I can't get it. And she just got engaged. So,
Aw.
Well, who is that?
Kristen Chenoweth.
Oh.
I'm
sweet.
sorry you can't see it. If I put it up
You can
closer,
see it. No,
For no
I-
good reason, Joyce hates Kristen Chenoweth. I don't know
Can you say fake?
why. She's a beauty pageant winner. That's real. Those are real. Anywho, thank you, Vicki Quade. Thank you, Leslie Hoban Blake. Thank you. I want to give Ronald a proper thank you if he can just
Thank you.
Ronald
I
ever comes
appreciate
back,
it.
tell him I have his captain's
Thank you
chair. I have
so
the same
much.
chair. Oh, Ron, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear all of you. I'm so sorry the streaming has been lost, but I can
Okay.
hear you. I
Okay, but what I
so
wanted to say
enjoyed
to you
being
was,
with you all.
Ron, what I wanted to say, it's Leslie, what I wanted to say is I have that same captain's chair, that wooden chair behind you. It was
Yes.
my dad's,
Yes.
and I took it when he passed away. He
Oh,
had a
nice.
companion chair that was the female version. That's the captain's chair. And then there was I guess a dowager lady who sat at the table kind of chair, more feminine looking, and that one got broken. So
Mhm.
I still have the, I'm looking at it. It's covered in a Sherpa skin. I love
Wonderful.
that chair.
Anyway, I want to thank you.
Well, thank
Congratulations
you.
again, Ron. It's so nice to see you.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you. Same here. Thank you so much, Dave.
Ron, yeah, well, it's been absolutely a delight, and everybody go get Ron's book,
My pet
Soul
rock.
Translation, on stage, and go get Soul of the American Actor, his publication that is still continuing. Thank you, Ronald. You were absolutely fantastic. So patient with Rabbi Sal, and so much fun with us here on the Today Yesterday quiz. Please come
I
back.
just realized this is my pet
Thank
rock.
you so
I
much.
think that's very,
I will
I just
definitely
realized that
get you
this is
all
my-
pet rocks.
yes, that's it. You should make a company. But
Yeah.
right now, during the pandemic, people want anything. Make a pet rock company. You'll make a fortune.
Well, it's very important that we all get our rocks off, So anyway, have a great week. Happy holidays to all of you. Happy Christmas to the Christmassy people. And Moa to all of you. Thank you, Vicki.
Merry Christmas Eve to
Thank you.
your
Merry
lovely wife,
Christmas.
Joyce.
Oh, thank
Thank
you.
Merry
Hold on.
Christmas to you both.
Bye.
Happy New Year. Bye-bye.
I'm removing people
Bye.
as we speak.
Bye,
Thank you
Joyce.
guys. And
Bye-bye.
bye, Ronald. Thank you very, very much.
Bye-bye.
And
Thank you so much.
everyone who is watching this episode, our 829th episode of Dave's Gone By, the Rand Total episode. Lots of fun today on the
Is it
show.
Friday yet?
This was a shorter quiz than last week. You knew it was going to go because we had 4 people instead of the usual 3.
Some of your viewers suggested that you might institute a timer.
I know,
Or
right?
what is-
Yeah, that was kind of. We were just about finishing with the last question, and that took like 15 minutes.
Yeah.
It happens. It happens, but it's all in fun. I hope you guys enjoy playing along at home, or short at home if you don't like. If you think the quiz goes on too long. This is a mix of humor and talking music. We do it every week and have been since October of 2002, and we still have a bit more to do on this episode of the show. For example, our friends of the Daverhood, gotta give a shout out to them. We have our Colorado Limerick of the Damned, but yes, New York is fine. It's a little dreary, a little rainy. let's put our minds 2,000 miles away in Colorado. Beautiful, mountainous Colorado, where Joyce and I lived for a bunch of years, and where we both got this newspaper, because they used to give it out free at the university. I think they still do. Comes out 4 times a week. It's the Greeley Tribune. This is a real newspaper. And one of the best things about it are 2 columns that are based on real things, but they're intentionally fun and funny. One of the columns is called Cop Log, where it's actual phone calls that come into Greeley and Weld County Police Dispatch from people who see weird things happening in the neighborhood just over the past couple of weeks. And so that's in the paper because it's public record. And also, our friend Mike Peters at the Greeley Tribune, he goes through the newspapers back in 1921. He actually goes in a time machine and gets the papers there. But he looks through these old papers and finds the most weird, funny, nostalgic, goofy things. And he prints a column of that every week in the Greeley Trib. Well, we mix both of those up together to come up with a segment we love to do called Greeley Crimes and Old Times. Whoa. Da-da-da-da. Oh, the criminality. Oh, the humanity, ladies and gentlemen, as we do Greeley Crimes and Old Times live on this Saturday, December 18th. Today already feels like the 19th. December 18th, 2021. Are you ready with noises and your criminal mind, dear? All right, here we go. We'll start with some recent crime in Weld County and its vicinity. Oh, a caller. We have a caller. Here, yeah, I have to work on this phone, yeah. I should get a cell at this point. A caller on 3rd Avenue reported that his neighbor said, quote, "Do you want me to take the knife out at you?" And then the guy grabbed a shovel and started hitting the ground. Well, at least he didn't take his knife out at the...
That's the time to move. That's the time you call U-Haul.
Yeah,
Call your realtor.
Oh, man. It's like... Oh. Here's another one. Here's another recent crime. A man on 17th Avenue said that a woman refused to give him his black cat back. Now, is it good luck or bad luck when the black cat doesn't cross your path but used to? This I don't know.
David, she wouldn't give him her.
But yes, I was going to go there too.
Yeah,
But understand, ladies and gentlemen, my wife came up with the pussy joke on this one.
I did not.
Yes, she just
did
did. She
not.
certainly did. Okay. A caller on 11th Avenue. I'm getting my 11th Avenue receiver here. Yeah. Oh, really? Wow. Caller on 11th Avenue said a man in the parking lot was wearing a clown mask, sitting in a vehicle, and acting suspicious. So he's in a clown mask, sitting in a vehicle, and acting suspicious. And acting suspicious? Kind of had me with the first two. I don't think that's kind of a redundant statement right there. But anyway, one more caller. A caller on 12th Street. Hello. Oh, really? They did that? All right, okay. Caller said a man followed an employee to work in order to get out of his vehicle and harass her about being a horrible driver. I know I've wanted to do that.
That's not good.
And so, so the person cuts in front of me, and I see him cut in front of another vehicle to get back into the lane.
Have a gun or something.
I know.
You don't want to do that.
Yeah, but that feeling of wanting to follow the person, go, what's wrong with you? You know. Anywho, let's do some old timey kind of things. These are items that were in the newspaper back in November, December 1921 in the local Colorado newspapers. November 30th is the 33rd anniversary of Greeley's only lynching. Well, who knew? In 1888, remember this was written in 1921, Wilbur French of Evans, another town in Colorado, was lynched by a gang of men outside the courthouse in downtown Greeley. We know exactly where that is. He had been arrested for torturing his wife until she died. The tree in which he was hung withered and died shortly after the lynching. So, yeah, he did not make good mulch. I would imagine not. But kind of nice to know that that was the only time anyone was lynched in Greeley, Colorado. It's all right. Now you can say one thing about beer as medicine. You won't find half-empty bottles sitting on the shelves. Huh? That's actually pretty clever for the time. Yeah, it was cute. No. Wait, where's the burp noise? We need the burp guy. That's it. Speaking of viral things, smallpox is becoming serious across the state, with more people. No, give me the vomit lady. There we go. More people getting very sick, and some dying. One town near Greeley has reported 200 new cases this week. The state would not release the name of the town, but said it's about 12 miles from Greeley. Also, they said it rhymes with shoveland. Anyway, let's get back to some modern new criminality, ladies and gentlemen. A caller on 8th Avenue. This is magnificent. Okay. No, thank you for sharing. Thank you for oversharing. A caller reported that his brown jacket smelled like cows and alcohol. I think he's lucky because everything else in Greeley smells like shit. So there you go. And then there's another caller, a caller on 5th Street. Yeah. He reported 2 teenagers making out by a playground. Isn't that why they call it a playground? Also, another caller reported hearing a banging noise at the park. I guess those teenagers really liked each other. He said it looked like someone was trying to steal a bicycle with a wagon attached.
Oh, if you take kids in the back of the bike, the bike that has a wagon.
So someone's trying to steal that. Hopefully there were no kids in the wagon.
I hope there were no kids in there.
I hope not. Let's go on. Let's do 1 or 2 more of the old timesy things, and then we have an elsewhere as well. Mrs. Irene Patterson has moved back to Frederick, Colorado, and asked her husband for a divorce. He moved them to a home in Wyoming located on land, quote, not fit for man nor beast. She said she hadn't seen another woman in 7 months, and there were no neighbors within 20 miles. Her soon-to-be ex-husband is still living there. As for her going back to Frederick, well, Frederick had no comment. This is exactly where I would love to live. Like a place in Colorado 20 miles from any other human being. I think I could manage that. Let's go elsewhere. Even though this is Greeley Crimes and Old Times, we do occasionally put in a story, an odd story, from another place in the world. Could be very, very far away from Colorado. In fact, it is. This one comes from the Netherlands. And before we were talking about the Olympics of theater, well, check this out. Local organizers of an Olympic qualification event in the Netherlands were told that advertisements for easy toys, even though not explicit, were too much for U.S. audiences. The live stream was also canceled in Japan. Look at this. I'm getting a spam call on my phone. Hold on.
No, don't.
All right, I'll decline it.
Yeah.
Oh, well.
Just let it go.
It might be fun to put them on the air. Just what, my car warranty is expiring? Oh, no. Anywho, this is true. This happened like 2 or 3 weeks ago in the Netherlands, the Olympic qualification event for the USA curling team. They tweeted on Sunday that video of the Americans' open round match was not available due to, quote, an unforeseen sponsorship conflict. Easy Toys, a sexual paraphernalia website that bills itself as, quote, the market leader in the Netherlands and Belgium, could not be reached for comment. So, and by the way, their logo, their thing that was on the ice around the curling thing, it's just the name of the company in script letters. There's no mention, no visual image in any way related to a sex toy.
Okay.
And yet it was still banned.
What's the name of the company?
Easy Toys. All right, easy. It could be.
Yeah, but God forbid somebody thinks it's a kid's thing and they get Christmas
Oh, I don't know. Yeah, if you know what? Pretty much all sex toys, if you gave them to children and didn't tell them what they were, kids would have fun with it.
I don't know.
It would be like a magic wand. Ooh, it lights up, it vibrates, it's fun. It's a children's toy. It is. You know, nipple clamps, maybe not so much. I would not necessarily give those to a 9-year-old. I would stay away from nipple clamps. I don't know, insertable balls. Swallowing problem. You probably may not want to do that. Masks.
Most things are not have an age limit. Kids are little.
Yeah, bullwhip. Okay, I would stay away from that. But like a leather or a black mask, that's fun. That's playing Lone Ranger and stuff. I don't know. Feathers are fun. Anywho. And of course, edible undies, because kids will eat anything. Let's go back and do a little bit more of crime and old time here on Dave's Gone By in our Greeley Crimes and Old Time segment. A caller on 14th Avenue. Yeah. And this caller reported a husband and wife smoking in a car to avoid the cold. That's it. Somebody called the police.
So, David, we live with an HOA, and you had strict rules, but I mean, I think like you're supposed to smoke so many. If it's their own car.
Yes, and if they're married, and there's.
How do they know they're married?
I don't know. But it's just this idea of, and I'd rather, if you're going to smoke on my street, I'd rather you be in your car and keep the horrible air in there.
I will tell you, David.
Yeah.
I do believe that since the pandemic, people have had too much time on their hands.
Right. Too many staring out the window looking for things.
It's like Rear Window, like that's like not good.
I like these ones that get weirder and weirder the more they go on. A caller on 35th Avenue reported 8 teenagers in Home Depot refusing to leave. Okay, annoying teenagers, they're not buying anything.
Like the supermarket at lunch, they'd had,
Yeah, nobody wants them there. They were apparently making TikToks, the video things, sitting on buckets, and cutting each other's hair in the lighting aisle.
Maybe it was like a flash mob. Remember they used to do flash mob?
Or just kids with nothing to do. Let's go into Home Depot and give each other haircuts.
God bless them.
Well, no. Yes and no.
Why wouldn't they do it like at a barbershop?
It's harmless, and yet, what the hell are you? Why? Just why? Anyway.
I don't understand the law.
A caller on 7th Avenue said a man... Yeah, all right, we'll be right there. Was trying to break into a business and steal hot tubs. I sure hope you have a really big burglar sack.
How do you steal a hot tub?
I have no idea. That story doesn't hold water.
I'm sorry. I don't think you can steal a hot tub.
No.
I think you can. How do you?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, if you were Polish, he was probably trying to steal a full hot tub.
I don't get it.
I do not either. Let's end with this one. This is from 100 years ago in the newspapers. Dean Gilpin Brown of the State Teachers College said, quote, I guess he saw them hanging out at the Home Depot, quote, the young people of today do not dance. They paste their cheeks together and romp to the music. And the music they romp to,
Not good.
Unquote. This is from the State Teachers College back then. Think about this. He wrote this, he said this in 1921. Mm-hmm. So the music that he was saying about was probably like Scott Joplin, Fletcher Henderson, Duke Ellington and Vodioto Rudy Valley and stuff. The more things change, the more things change. Anyway, that, my friends, is Greeley Crimes and Old Times for this Saturday morning, December 18th, 2021. I'm Dave Lefkowitz, and this, of course, is Groucho Marx.
Mr. Horace Greeley was no fool. I'm sure that you'll agree with me that Greeley was no fool.
What he is getting at is that Mr. Greeley was no fool.
Yippee-yi, yippee-yi, yippee-yi-yi-yi, yippee-yi, yippee-yi, yippee-yi.
And so, ladies and gentlemen, we're in a bit of overtime here on Dave's Gone By because we still have a little bit more to do on this episode of the show, our 829th. Thank you so much for being with us, and thank you to my wonderful wife, Joyce, and such marvelous people that we had on the show today playing the game. We had Ronald Rand. Well, actually, let me play the music. And in fact, I'll make it some Beethoven. I'll try not to lean over his coffin while I do this. Here we go. So Ronald Rand, author of the new book Solo Transformation on Stage from Sunbury Press. Do go check it out. What a fun and fine guest he was on the show today. Also, get his newspaper, Soul of the American Actor. It is a quarterly hard copy paper that you can, like the old-fashioned thing. If you're waiting, you're on stage, and then there's a 20-minute scene that you're not in, and you go backstage, why not read Soul of the American Actor? Get yourself a copy. It comes out 4 times a year. Ronald Rand. Thank him so much. He is now a great, great, fun friend of the Daverhood. Also, we want to thank so much Vicki Quade. Go see her at the Greenhouse in Chicago, where she's doing 2 shows, Christmas Bingo, as well as Late Night Catechism. And then starting in January, what did she say was coming back? It was another one that she...
Oh, Bible Bingo.
Bible Bingo. Yeah, thank you, Bedford. So, Vicki Quade joins us so often in the Daverhood and brings so much fun to our Today, Yesterday quiz. Want to remind you also to read David Sheward about the theater in theaterlife.com. Yeah, who did?
Thanks again. Have a wonderful rest of the week.
Is that Ronald?
Yeah, no, Vicki.
Oh, Vicki. Thank you, Vicki.
Yeah, Sim Gold was the one who suggested we got to do a timer, Bubba.
Well, yeah. I'm gonna... Yes. Yeah.
You should get one of the egg timers that you turn for like a minute, And,
Oh, I would love that. Yes.
Like, I think they're really cool.
So, but anyway, David Sheward, theaterlife.com, culturaldaily.com, as well as the David Desk. And Leslie Hoban Blake, watch her and Charlie Gross every week, or every 1 or 2 weeks, on their YouTube channel doing Critics Circle. If you missed some of their older episodes, they're all there. So do check that out. So thank you. They are, of course, our friends of the Daverhood for this week, as is Rabbi Saul Solomon, whom you can find out more about at his website, shalomdammit.com. Shalom, D-A-M-M-I-T, shalomdammit.com. Rabbi Saul mentioned to Ronald Rand that he has done this musical solo show called Shalom Dammit, An Evening with Rabbi Saul Solomon. He wants to get that up once COVID is over. Until then, you can watch an early, lengthy version of that show just by going to his website, shalomdammit.com. That is also the place to read and hear his hilarious rabbinical reflections, as well as watch the episodes of his TV show, Shalom Dammit, Rabbi Saul Solomon's Peace, Love, and Acid Reflux Hour. They're all there at shalomdammit.com. But, we have had, over the many years that this program's been on the air, many, many folks who have joined us in the Daverhood, who have been guests on the show. We like to let you know what they're up to, as they are friends of the Daverhood. And so, here it is. I'm looking for a paper that wasn't in my stack. What are the other friends of the Daverhood up to? Well, for example, congratulations to songstress Stevie Holland, winner of Best Actress from the Culver City Film Festival out in California for her show Love, Linda, which you can still go and watch on Broadway HD. It's all about the wife of Cole Porter, Linda, yes, he was married, Linda Porter, and it's got music in it, and she won for the recording of it, the Culver City Film Festival. Congratulations to Stevie Holland. Also, I want to let you know that today through the 22nd, Michel Larue is doing a Christmas stocking live. I think it's today it's live, and then for the next couple of days, you can watch it on YouTube. Find out more at Michel, one L in there, michellarue.com. I want to let you know that this is your last weekend to catch a Journal of the Plague Year that Right Act Repertory is doing at the Brick House Theater in North Hollywood. This is a radio-style play by our friend Willard Manis. And by the way, you can also read Willard Manis's reviews of California theater in totaltheater.com. Letting you know that Ruben Santiago Hudson is directing the play Skeleton Crew on Broadway. That starts on December 21st, Omicron willing, on Broadway at the Samuel J. Friedman Theater for Manhattan Theater Club. Big year for Ruben Santiago Hudson. He was doing Lackawanna Blues on Broadway for the first couple of months, and now he's back directing Skeleton Crew. Go see it. Paul Williams, his songs are being performed in Jim Henson's Emmett Otter's Jug Band Christmas that is being performed at the New Victory Theater off Broadway now through the beginning of the year. And even the New Victory, especially since it's basically family theater for children, they know everything's going haywire. So if you cannot get off Broadway to see it, they're also going to be streaming it. Find out how. Emmett Otter's Jug Band Christmas, featuring songs by Paul Williams. Ray Bahur is co-producing a Sherlock Carol off Broadway at the New World Stages now through the very beginning of next year. LaChanze is on Broadway in Trouble in Mind. That's a roundabout staging at the American Airlines Theater. Dakin Matthews is in Waitress at the Barrymore. Stu Zagnit is in Caroline or Change, which you just heard David Sheward really, really liked. That's at Studio 54. And then you have only a little more time now to catch Darren Lee Cole's, he co-wrote and co-directed a show called Tammany Hall off Broadway down at Soho Playhouse that is going to be ending on January 9th. So you still have a couple of weeks to see Tammany Hall, this immersive show about old-time New York and corrupt politicians. Sounds pretty cool. Danny Burston is in Moulin Rouge on Broadway when Moulin Rouge is not stopping performances for COVID, but he's still in there through the middle of January, playing like the good guy, bad guy role. Go see him. Estella Scrooge, he's in that. That is already pre-recorded. It's a musical for the holiday season that you can watch at Broadway on demand now through the end of January. On Broadway, just through December 26th, Lilias White is in Chicago. So by all means, go see her. Meanwhile, Ray Bahur is in Chicago as Amos. So they're both in there now. If you're going to the theater, if you're going to Broadway, go see them. Go see Alan Menken's Aladdin at the New Amsterdam Theater. He co-wrote the songs for that. J.O. Sanders is on Broadway in Girl from the North Country at the Belasco Theater. Jim Caruso's Cast Party every Monday night at Birdland. Go to birdlandjazz.com for more information. Go to stagebuggy.com for New York nightlife information. That is a podcast run by our wonderful friend Evan Seplow. Dr. Demento, still doing new Dr. Demento shows at drdemento.com. And Bob Cudmore, doing podcasts about upstate New York history at bobcudmore.com. And those, my friends, are the friends of the Daverhood. Oh, that Beethoven. Ladies and gentlemen, it is 12:30 in the afternoon Eastern Time in the Daverhood. You've been watching Dave's Gone By with me, the 829th episode called Rand Total. If you've stayed with us this long, if you've stayed with us through the whole show, and if you've tuned in late, remember that the archives of the show are at davesgoneby.com, archive.org, and castbox.fm. And if you've stayed with us this long and you know the show, you also know that every week we torture you with a Colorado Limerick of the Damned. This is a poem that I write, and I've written a lot of them, about different towns, cities, burgs, and municipalities in the glorious state of Colorado. Sometimes they're pretty simple in terms of rhyme, places like Vail, and, Fort Collins isn't that easy, but some things rhyme pretty easily, some not so much. I had a challenge this week because today's poem is going to be about Paonia. Paonia, Colorado.
Pagonia?
Not Pagonia. I'll spell it Paonia.
Paonia?
Paonia,
What is the origin of that?
Colorado. You know what? I'm going to tell you in our Colorado Limerick
Oh, boy.
of the Damned.
You're the poetry man.
A limerick is a comic verse of 5 lines, in which lines 1, 2, and 5 will end with words that rhyme. And likewise, verses 3 and 4 also end with words that rhyme. So this is a limerick.
Rocky Mountain, Colorado, Colorado.
Oh, beautiful Colorado indeed, where Paonia is. I'm going to tell you a little bit about it, and then I'm going to read a 5-line poem that I wrote about it. Hide the children. Paonia is a small town in Delta County. It's got about 1,500 people in it, in a little less than a square mile. It's in central western Colorado, so it's over that ways, whereas Greeley is a bit more easterly. The Ute Indians there, and then Army Captain John Gunnison was looking for a path through the Rockies, so it was settled in the early 1880s by Wade and Clark, the latter of whom brought to the area to plant peonies. And Paonia is Latin for peony.
Oh, flower.
Flower, yeah, the flower. There's still one operational coal mine in Paonia, Colorado. There's also orchards and vineyards and cattle ranching, plus 2 pubs. It's got a newspaper there called High Country News, and even a community radio station, KVNF. They've had, since 1946, an annual Cherry Festival, which of course doesn't hold a candle to potato festivals, but still, and also the Mountain Harvest Festival and the BMW Bike Rally. So pretty happening town for a small place, Paonia, Colorado. Well, I'll tell you what's happening now with Paonia. I'm going to read a disgusting poem about it, and you're going to hear it. There is a young girl in Paonia who's ready and willing to bone ya. Best get there today. She's moving away. Next week she'll be in California. Please send your complaints and your comments and anything else to davesgoneby@aol.com. I do love to hear from you. davesgoneby@aol.com. Yes, I still, literally one person that I worked with this week said, if you have an AOL address, you'll never get hired anywhere. And it's true. Everybody has to have a Gmail or they seem completely unhip and out of it. But I don't care.
No, it's true.
It is true. It is true. But for
It
Dave's
shows your
Gone By,
age, but it shows your age, right?
it does. It
it's-
does.
it's,
I mean, I have another email address for me, and an email address for Total Theater and things like that. But for Dave's Gone By, davesgoneby@aol.com. You can also post your messages right on this Facebook page or direct message me if we are friends on Facebook. But either way, the most important thing is please get in touch. Tell me what you think of the show. Tell me what you liked, what you didn't like, what you suggest for upcoming episodes. And also, of course, please tell your friends, tell your enemies, tell everyone that this show is still going on and that we do it live every Saturday morning from 9 until noon or thereabouts on Facebook, with episodes then archived on our YouTube page, davesgoneby.com. Our Facebook page even archives the recent shows. It's all there, pretty easy to find what we do here every week. I'm going to give a shout out to our friends at Hewlett Minuteman Press, the copy kings of Broadway. Thank them so much for being such great people. I'm not going to do a commercial for them. I'm not going to do some kind of advertisement for them because I'm not allowed to, because this program goes on Cablevision and it also is on Facebook. So we'll just say that, Hewlett Minuteman Press, the Toron family, has owned and operated this outlet of the Minuteman franchise since the mid-1970s. I have personally used their services, and they've been really great to work with, and I still do work with them. They're in Hewlett. They're a couple of blocks from the LIRR station. Enough said. Hewlett Minuteman Press. Thank them so much. And thank you one more time to David Sheward, Leslie Hoban, Blake, Ronald Rand, and Vicki Quade, and Rabbi Sol Solomon. Thank you to my darling and wonderful wife, Joyce. Joyce, have we covered everything? We didn't really talk that much about stuff.
I don't remember. I feel like, was that last week? You've been on there a couple weeks, so.
Let's say, well, we did deal with Omicron. We talked about the bouncy house.
That's horrible. I feel so, it's like such a thing of joy that brings you horror,
Anything can.
It's supposed to bring joy.
A bottle of wine can bring you joy, but you can become an alcoholic.
You just have a knack for bringing up the...
Getting laid can bring you joy, but it can also give you gonorrhea.
Look, there's timers.
Oh, Joyce is looking for... I can do an online timer. I may do that for the quiz. So anyway, shall I tell the computer story?
You can tell it. It's not my story. I
Fine.
don't care.
Fine.
You just out your people.
I will end with this because this happened this week. This is wonderful. So I work in a school district. Okay, I'm not giving names. I'm not giving anything. But so I work and I deal with a lot of different things. Some of it is secretarial. A lot of it involves data and processing data and running reports and things like that. Fine. But mostly it deals with technology, and I'm with a group that makes sure the computers are running and makes sure that the smart boards are working and that the public address systems are going okay in all the buildings and all of that, right? And I'm sort of the point person to filter off things to the technicians. Okay. And one of the things that we've been doing is, especially in that pandemic, like it was a year and a half ago, was making sure that every student, if they had to be working from home, if they were quarantined, or even if not, everybody has a device. The school district gives you a device. And if you're a little kid, and if you're in the early grades, you get an iPad. And if you're in the higher grades, you get a Chromebook, because presumably, higher functioning, you can do more with it, and so forth. And every kid gets this, and it's what their taxes pay for. They can't keep it. They give it back at the end of the year. But during the year, they don't have to use their own computers. In fact, it works better that they're all on the same devices that we can control. Okay. And, you're giving Apple iPads that could have launched NASA in 1969. You're giving these to 6, 7, and 8-year-old children. They're going to break. Stuff is going to happen. And we have a high rate of breakage of these things and smashed screens and oopsies. And also, unfortunately, on some of the Chromebooks, a high rate of things that aren't charging properly. They made these things during the pandemic, slammed them together, and I'm wondering if we're all wondering if they weren't made quite as well as they should be, and that, you go to charge them and they just won't charge, and several of them. Okay, not saying anything against Chromebook, not saying anything. So that's what we sometimes deal with, broken devices from children. But I don't normally have to deal. A lot of this goes to the secretaries in the individual buildings, and I don't have to deal directly with parents, which is a blessing. And I certainly don't have to deal almost never with children, which is the greatest blessing. I work in a school district, and I don't have to deal with children. Life doesn't get better than that. Okay. So my boss has come over, and we have to work on something together involving a survey that has to be taken, that all the parents take, and then we have to get that data together and fill out how many of this and how many of that. So we want to get working on this. Usually my boss is not right there in the room with me. Usually he's in his office across the way. I'm in my own little space in our big room. It's fine, I can deal. But of course, my boss is right there 2-3 feet away as I get a phone call. And this literally happened, it was not yesterday, it was 2 days ago. And on the phone, it isn't one of the secretaries that I usually deal with, one of the admins. No, it's a parent. And the parent kind of just launches into this. Doesn't even, there's no, hey, how you doing? There's no small talk. And this is what I hear. It's like, hi, my daughter just vomited. I'm like, and if you know me, if you know my sense of humor, it is all I can do to just like put the phone down and not start rolling on the floor laughing. Because A, I love obviously anything involving bodily functions, and B, that tends not to be the first line you would say to anybody picking up the phone. I mean, hi, I'm the mother of a kid in so and so in such and such grade, and here's what happened. My daughter vomited. No, I was like, hi, my daughter vomited. Well, good for her. What do I even say? Well, now I'm just smirking. And it's much, much worse because my boss, as I said, is right there. He's a great guy. He's a wonderful boss.
And
But
there's a lot of kids who probably vomit.
but I'm also on my better behavior, because and I'm trying to be like good guy and serious person, because A, my boss is watching me, and B, the woman on the phone, my daughter vomited, right? So I'm like, yeah, literally, thank goodness it's not a Zoom call, so she's not seeing the expression on my face, and the first thing I want to tell her is, and you're calling me instead of the nurse, because, but there was more to it. This is kind of wonderful. My daughter vomited all over her iPad. Fine. I'm like, okay, wipe it. And she says, I'm not even drawing this information out of her. She's just completely volunteering this. She vomited all over the iPad. iPad's fine. Wiped it off. However, it went all over the iPad case, because you don't give kids devices like this without, you don't give adults devices like this without cases. And, because if you know an iPad case, it isn't like a hard shell plastic. It's this kind of foamy polystyrene, what's that stuff that they make my knee brace thing out of?
Velcro?
It's something like that. Well, the Velcro ties that other stuff around it.
Yeah, it's like, I don't know, it's like, it's what they made swimsuits out of.
Yeah,
like the scuba diving suits.
Spandexy lycra.
Poly,
Yeah.
yeah.
So it's the cases are made out of that. They're kind of floppy-ish, even though they're protective. And she said, we tried cleaning the case, but the vomit kind of soaked into it and it's submerged in it. What should we do? And meanwhile, this is not the part that I deal with. This is when I farm off the phone call to other people. But I'm just sitting there in awe that I'm getting, I so rarely get phone calls from parents, thank goodness. And this one is, my daughter ruined an iPad case by vomiting all over it. And we can't clean an iPad case because, and she's saying this, the vomit soaked into the material.
God almighty.
I think the first suggestion from one of the people that I work with is, don't return it.
Yes.
Don't bring it back.
That's yours now.
Don't bring it anywhere. Bring it to like some fire pit in India and burn it. Do not bring it here or at all, right? And as it happens, we budget for things like this. So she was asking very legitimately and very nicely if she would have to buy her own iPad case, or if we could give her, another one. As it happens, we have some extras, so we can totally give her. We actually sometimes give devices when they break the device, and we really shouldn't do that. Here, in those cases, the parent should be responsible. And, hey, you broke a $250 iPad, go buy one yourself. But, but in terms of this, it was just, and I'm looking at my boss, and trying, because my boss is watching me take this call as part of my secretarial duties for the things I'm being paid for, and all I can do is like, no, we don't want it back. No. And apparently it's fine. We'll get you another. We'll work it out. I'll take your information. I'll send you over. And only then, about 3 minutes into this phone call, this is the horrible human being that I am, right? It never occurs to me that this is the mother of a sick child.
Yes.
Never for a moment does it register that while I'm trying not to laugh in her face, this is a mother who has just seen her child barf uncontrollably, and may be ill, may have Omicron, may have something, who knows?
But if the kid was really sick, I think getting an iPad case would be the last of her.
Yeah. I mean, and then I remembered basically only because I looked at my boss, and I said, I have to act like the concerned, nice person here. How is your child? How is she okay? Right, and then mother launches into this discourse about the child's upset for various family reasons, and everything's fine, and it's just it's fine, everything's fine. And then I was able to say, and the mother, I have to say, was really, really cool. She understood the humor of the situation. She was not freaking out, and she was not angry that I was being a little bit flippant, shall we say. She was absolutely great. But what a fine week when you can take one phone call from a parent and it's all about saturating an iPad case with puke. Life is good sometimes, ladies and gentlemen. Life is good. And I hope your lives are good and that you have a wonderful holiday if you're celebrating the holiday, and that you have a good week. It's cold again. We had those 2 wonderful days. But now, at least it's not going to be snowy, I don't think, or miserable, just a bit chilly and damp again. Deal with it. It's December, and by the time we meet again, next Saturday, Christmas Day, for those of you who celebrate, here's something that'll make your day. Your day will be getting longer again, because we're going to hit that solstice. It's going to be the 20th to 21st, just 3 days from now, and then that dark at 4:20 in the afternoon, dark at 4:21, at 4:23, and at 4:25. It's gonna, yes, we're just coming on to start winter, but the furthest away from the sun, that's just 2-3 more days away, and then we start getting closer. The days get longer, and you don't feel when you're walking out the door of work. And I get out, I'm lucky. I get out at 4:15. I don't get out at 5 o'clock. I feel bad for people who get up in darkness and then walk out the door and they come home in darkness. I do. So that'll be a couple more weeks, but day by day, and I've been talking about this since we started the show 20 years ago with the stupid daylight savings and the time changes. Just go through the next couple of days and start looking out your window after 4 o'clock and 4:15, 4:20, and day by day, little bit more light. Can anything be more optimistic than that? And with that, I bid you a very, very fine week. I bid love to my darling and adorable wife, Joyce. My thanks to David and Leslie and Vicki and Ronald and Sal, who made this show so much fun. Tune in next Saturday morning. I may choose to take the week off, depending on how things go with the day yesterday quiz, depending on what maybe Joyce and I want to do with the day. We'll see. But for now, we will be back next Saturday morning to find out if we will and what we'll be doing. Go to davesgoneby.com or check this Facebook page. Have a wonderful holiday and gone by.
Days gone by.